Hello everyone! How are y'all doing? Streaming on a Thursday, which is a first, but I'm busy tomorrow and I wasn't able to stream last week, so I thought, since I know quite a few people not only watch the streams live, but watch the VODs, even though they're unlisted. I even had a comment today saying, "Hey Billy, you're gonna stream Juno this week? Look forward to them every week," so here we are. We're gonna continue our Juno Conquest, because we're getting excitingly close to landing a Druid on Luna. So I don't imagine we'll do that today. Today, I imagine we'll get all the tech points we need to do that and perhaps design the rocket. But we'll see if we actually get round to landing on Luna itself today. Pedro's even here. Hello. Lags a lot's here. Hello, Breadman. Hello indeed. Volume's a tad low. That's just a work of my mic, basically. Turn it up on your end is all I can say, unless it's compared to the music. But if everything's low, then yeah, do it on your end. YouTube tends to normalize things when I upload things, but that's just a way of stopping my microphone peaking. I'm gonna get a new microphone soon though, particularly for recording music. Nice hoodie, people say. You might recognize what it's from. But yeah, I had to wait till it got a little bit colder to wear it, because this is a very, very cozy, very, very warm hoodie. So let's have a look at the tech tree. Let's remind ourselves what we were doing. So last time, and in fact the time before, we sent druids to orbit and fly by Luna, and we were getting ourselves tech points and new launch sites. So what we grabbed last time was soft landing, which is what we need to land on the moon. But it would also be nice to have a few other things, particularly slow descent, to actually have a proper parachute. And then, yeah, planning maneuvers would also be nice. Gantt charts. Let's have a little look at our career, look at our contracts, and see what we got. So we've got a progression mission, which is to go for a race around our new base, which I think could not be a bad thing. We've got another one. Oh, okay. We've got two air races. One's progression and one's... Oh, this one's just a race around. Ah, it's not a plane one. It's not a plane one. It's a car one. Although I appreciate all the car stuff in Juno, it's not my personal interest area. We've got this lunar flyby, which we need to do, which we get a bonus if we do crude, which, you know, we already know how to do, but I might redesign our rocket to make it a little bit more streamlined. But let's start this, I reckon. Whoa. There's a Drew surface rescue. That's a new one. He's on the mountains. Okay, yeah, we're not going to do that. We'll start with the alley air race, and we'll go from there. So, Republic of New Africa says, hello, I'm assuming we're having a moon landing. We'll see. We'll see if we get it done today. You know what? We're actually closer to the moon landing than I seem to remember us being. So, maybe we will see that today. Now, someone did show me, yes, to turn on seamless edges. And apparently that makes our plane... Oh, yeah, wow, look at that. That looks so much better. So you don't get these hard edges between fuel tanks. Heck yeah. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah, that looks great. That looks really good. Okay, yeah, awesome. Wow, okay, that looks better. Right, we're going to save our aircraft. Our Corsaro. I'm going to go do one of these air races. So we're going to launch from our new... It's the same cost to launch from? Yeah. It's just how long they are. Or is it just the... Is it 2 runways? Yeah. Perhaps they're the same length. I don't know. We'll go from this one first. So that's the launch pad. And we'll see where we launch. MiG. MiG indeed. MiG-21. Has a special place in my heart, and I have a Lego model of it that got sent to me by one of my subscribers, Comrade Catcher, on the Discord, who is my like resident Lego / brick expert. Turns out the blue bricks, kind of a knockoff of Lego, but a lot of their bricks are the same size. just not quite as well made, but obviously way cheaper, are actually making a LK lander, a Soviet moonlander set, and it's only like 30 quid. So you can bet that I bought that. So that's actually arriving in the next few days, hopefully. So yeah, wild. An actual dedicated LK lander set, which is the same scale as the Lego lunar lander, which I might now have to buy just to have them next to each other, which is pretty cool, I reckon, at least. Right. We want to be on this one. Okay, this one isn't at the end of the runway. You got to take off and then fly on over there. The number of the runway, yeah. The number of the runway does symbolize the compass heading. I did know that much, but I didn't realize it had runways pointing different way. Or is it just which end of the runway it's at? Oh, it is. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and I did know that from doing flight mechanics back in uni. You just add a 0 to the end, and there you go. That's your degrees on a compass. Okay, so I like that. To start with, you've literally got to buzz the tower. That's a bit of fun. Okay, see how close we can get. That was a close one. Okay. Does fly like an angel, yeah. We've taken this aircraft for a spin quite a few times. I even flew it with a completely different control scheme last time, like an inverted control scheme, which was certainly interesting. But yeah, it's funny that you design things based off of real aircraft and they actually fly pretty well. It's almost like the laws of aerodynamics are kind of constant. Whoop. You can probably slow down a little bit there. We're sort of approaching the Mach barrier. It does fly well, though. I expect someone who calls themselves an aerospace engineer would know that. Honestly, my expertise is not in... Oh! I missed it. My expertise is not in planes. It's not in aircraft. I did do a bunch of aircraft stuff, but really it was just passing the exams. My interest area is spacecraft. My degree was spacecraft engineering. That was at least what my master's was a specialist in. So we did a lot of advanced orbital mechanics, astronautics, space debris, loads of really cool stuff. Some of which I'm working on videos related to. Because a lot of the stuff is actually very counterintuitive, particularly with regard to space debris. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And it's very, very counterintuitive. It's hard to get your head around how space debris actually propagates and what Kessler syndrome actually is. Everyone thinks they know what it is, and they don't. Even Kessler didn't fully understand it when first proposing it. There we go! Oh, that was a bit of fun. It's a nice way to start the stream. Do a little victory loop. Is Juno Origins better than KSP2? Like that's even a comparison. I would have a lengthy discussion with you if you asked me whether Juno Origins is better than Kerbal Space Program with mods. But KSP2, hands down, of course it is. There are a few things that aren't better than KSP2, unfortunately. It's interesting how the narrative around that game and like the group think, like the wrong think, has changed as well. I remember when it first released, I got so much backlash. There were very few YouTubers, and I've said this so many times, people sort of change history. There were very few YouTubers who came out and said it how it was. This is bad. This is really bad. This is concerning. This is unacceptable for the game to launch like this. And it was really just me and Carnassa. Oh, we were going a little bit too fast there. We may need to loop around, but I think we'll be alright. Ooh, that wall is getting close. I probably should have quick save, shouldn't I? Okay, we'll do that again. That MiG was fully funded. 10 out of 10. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna do that again while I'm ranting about KSP2. There were very few people who said it how it was, and I think the hype train was off the rails. People just had a knee-jerk reaction before they'd even played it, before they'd even had a chance to play it, because I played before the embargo, right? I got an early copy. And so people could not have played it yet. Physically could not have bought it yet, and yet massive, massive backlash. I mean, you know, the video did very well, but I got lots and lots of backlash to that video. It's in early access. It's early access. You can't dare criticize it because it's in early access. Therefore, they're completely immune from any and all criticism. Yada yada yada. Even though it was 50 quid for early access, and it's like, as if it's some kind of attack on their favorite franchise. It's like, you realize very few people love this franchise more than I do, right? And more than Carnasa does. Like, I love it so much I went and got a degree and a career in it. It was always just from wanting it to be the best it could be. This is a cool base. I like this base. But yeah, I mean, that was the case for a few weeks. I mean, the narrative was just, oh, it's a bit broken, but there's a diamond in the rough here. It's a bit broken, but I still love it, and no shade to Shadow Zone and everything as well. But, like, they were leaning on it. And they were, like, saying, oh, well, this thing's buggy and broken. Well, that was, not quite as buggy and broken, but was buggy and broken at one point in the original game. It's like the original game I got for 4 quid on sale, and it was made originally by one guy. Like, you just can't hold them to the same standard, right? And the original reached a very, very stable point, too. Can't believe I missed that. Oh, god damn it. Okay. It was going so well. It was going so well. We nailed it. I just botched the landing and hadn't quick saved. Oh, crumbs, indeed. I expected this stream to be a little bit quieter, but we've actually got a fair few people here, even though it's a Thursday night. I'm not sure I'd watch a stream on a Thursday. But I work a compressed week, so I only work Monday through Thursday. So it works okay for me doing streams Thursday nights, if I don't have other plans. But yeah, as I said, I was really the only person who just said, look, this isn't acceptable, this needs to do better. Along with Carnasa as well. I mean, he was even in my video. And people were saying it's clickbait to call it unplayable when I literally couldn't launch the game. It's like, what more textbook definition of unplayable do you want me to say? So then the wrong think kind of changed over the course of the next few months when we realized, oh no, this isn't going to get better, like, quickly. To the point where then you couldn't say anything positive about the game. So each patch that was coming out was fixing hundreds of bugs, communications from the devs. If you're like, hey, this is promising. No, it's a scam, it's a scam, blah, blah, blah. Like, the group think had changed. So now if you say anything positive about the game, you're a Take-Two shill. You're getting paid off by Intercept. So then, of course, when For Science comes out, and it's a huge step in the right direction, I actually found the game enjoyable for the first time. I was really excited for the future, and I absolutely praised it to the ends of the earth. I'm like, yep, okay, cool. They're back on track. You know what? This is really exciting. My faith in the devs has been restored, and you know what? I think my faith in the developers was never misplaced. I just, didn't account for the publisher. But people were then accusing me of being a fanboy and being blind to the game's flaws, and it's like, did you not watch the previous video where I slammed this thing? Like, I was excited because, okay, it's finally getting better. Things can only get better. These things aren't just black and white. This is not a sporting event. You're not in my team or against me. These things do have nuance. You can disagree about some elements of something and still overall be on the same page, right? One guy that wasn't even a game dev. This is the hilarious thing, right? KSP1, made by a marketing company. Incredible game. KSP2, made by a game development studio. Incredible marketing. Someone explain that to me. But I mean, Juno shows what you can do with a small team of passionate and talented people. You know, they got the fundamentals spot on. Absolutely spot on. And it doesn't have, like, the shiny that maybe necessarily draws people in of, you know, the prettier graphics in KSP2 and, you know, you got all the Kerbal animations. I mean, the art team KSP2 is incredible. But I mean, if you look at the credits of the game, they've got, like, 30 people in the art team and, like, 10 people in the engineering team. It's like, you're making a physics simulator. What the heck are you doing? You maybe don't want to hire some more engineers? Really? The truth is just because engineers are expensive. Because it's a difficult job. It's complicated. It's lots of maths. So to have someone who's proficient in making a performant game, but also getting all the physics right, that's hard. You got to suck it up and pay people. But apparently they had a limit at Intercept on how much someone's salary could be. And it wasn't the industry standard for engineers. So really all you ever got was really passionate people who worked there because they wanted to work on KSP2 and really were being underpaid. Still not paid badly, but by industry standards were being underpaid because they're passionate about it. And that's where it comes back to, like, you know, these devs are definitely really way more passionate about this franchise than you are because they're being underpaid to try and make it the best it can be, right? That's the thing, they just didn't focus on the fundamentals. They focused on lots of shiny and just trying to get sales. They didn't focus on the actual sustainable product, right? Making something that they could actually, a foundation they could build on. I don't know about anyone else, but I would have very gladly just had KSP1 again, but optimized and pretty. I would have happily had that. And then I would have gladly paid for DLC for the multiplayer and for the Interstellar. I would not have minded. I really wouldn't have minded. That foundation had to be great. Pedro, yeah, then Juno's awful marketing and not a very successful game. I wouldn't say that. What's this one? If you demonstrate you're capable... We have a new customer. Evelyn Shotwell. Evelyn's the director of the Drew Space Center. Now, this is probably going to be the place we want to launch our moon mission from. She's assigning some of the hardest missions, but you can be sure they come with a good payback. See, based on Gwynne Shotwell, CEO of SpaceX. That's the thing when people are like, oh, you know, you're a fan of SpaceX. Oh, Elon Musk, Elon Musk. It's like, no, I'm a fan of Gwynne Shotwell, the actual rock star who runs that company. Elon's just the guy who says, land a rocket. Gwynne's the actual person who, you know, makes that happen. The person with the actual talent and intelligence, right? So if you want to be a fan of anyone at SpaceX, be a fan of the engineers that build the damn things and Gwynne Shotwell, because she is a rock star. My pleasure. Hell yes. If you demonstrate that you're capable of getting your craft to the water safely, will yet use our port in the future, this will make water recovery substantially cheaper. Well, we'd have to fly all the way over there. We have flown over there before. Doesn't seem to... Oh, within 120 days. We'll accept it, but we're not going to do it today. Right. This gives us some more tech points. It takes us up to 45 tech points, which isn't quite enough. Can we get another one? We did 2 timed things before. So if we do learning to fly first, because it's shorter, and then this one, we could get ourselves parachutes. I think we do that. We do the lunar flyby with a slightly improved design, and then we can see if we can land on the moon. I think that's very doable. Let's do that. Okay, learning to fly first, and we'll get all those tech points. I love the fact that you get bonuses for having crew. Because before, there wasn't really much distinction between an uncrewed mission and a crewed mission. And obviously, yeah, you can achieve something and get a pay for it. But it was actually quite difficult to get more tech points unless you were discovering new locations and breaking records. But now there's a real tangible bonus to the extra challenge of having crew on something, which I really like. I really like the rebalanced 1.3 career. Made basically all the changes that I asked for. Except the portraits. You still need a custom career for that. I reckon it should be an option in the game settings. Be a little toggle. I think people would appreciate it, but I know it's not going to happen. Starlink's already causing huge issues with ground-based astronomy. Can't support what they do. Yeah, but that's Starlink, though. Sort of the inevitability of bringing launch costs down is people are going to be launching loads of stuff. Target this one. Here we go. And really, the solution to that is, well, just bring down the cost of launching things even further so you can cheaply launch space telescopes. Just put that astronomy in space. I know it's not ideal, but you know, it's the solution just to not have satellites, you know? I do get it. I get why people are frustrated with it. I think there needs to be... we want to target this one. There we go. I get why people are frustrated with it, but I think that's one of the things, those things when it comes down to like price of progress. I think there needs to be more communication on exactly where those Starlink satellites are, when they're going to come ahead, and get in your shot so people can, you know, pause their exposures if possible. But it gets to a point where, yeah, and they are working on making them less reflective, but it's just one of those things. I get if you're passionate about astronomy, it's irritating, but I think internet access within my lifetime may well become a human right. Oh. Oh! Oh, that was too fast. Okay. I think getting internet access to far reaches of the globe, like, it was always going to use satellites, and bring down the cost of satellite launching means we're going to be launching lots and lots and lots of satellites, right? So it was kind of an inevitability. Not reality, certainly not for radio astronomy, which is really important. Yeah. The main issues in the active radar, that's something I didn't think of. I was thinking of visual astronomy, but absolutely valid point. Yeah, of course. Didn't think about that. Obviously, I'm a spacecraft engineer, so I'm biased. I'm always going to be on the side of the spacecraft. You know, like, I get it. This is not an ideal situation, but I don't really see a way to solve it, you know, other than just not launching satellites. Oh, was that not close enough? I thought that was close enough. Radio astronomy is not worth doing off the Earth. You say this? NASA has a plan to build a radio telescope on the far side of the moon using a crater. Just cool as heck. So even better, you want to do radio astronomy. Let's do it on the far side of the moon, you know? I feel like the thing that solves... Oh god, I've only got 17 seconds left to complete this time trial, so we better make this run count. Come on. Come on. Oh! Okay. Well, you know, there was an attempt. Is that the first you're hearing of it? Single launch mission. Landing crater. Shoots, like, tethers out. Unfolds itself. And turns a crater on the far side of the moon. They've already selected the crater. They're already building it. And it turns it into a radio telescope. Amazing, right? It's like the solution to progress is more progress, in my opinion. Launching on a Falcon Heavy and delayed until 374,000 AD. It'll certainly get delayed, but you know, it'll probably happen in the next decade or so, I'd imagine. It doesn't require any sort of new technologies, unlike James Webb. It's actually not quite as sort of far-fetched as it sounds. It's actually quite a reasonable proposal. KSP3 mission to build radio telescope would be amazing. I wonder if there'll be a KSP3. Unfortunately, Take-Two tried to sell the IP and they were really greedy about it, and so nobody wanted to buy it. Like, there was interest in buying it, but nobody could afford the price they were quoting, so then nobody bought it. And now I just fear the IP is just gonna get sat on and have nothing done with it, and that's a real shame. I mean, heck, there was even interest in buying KSP2, wasn't there? From someone. But again, they're just too greedy about it, so they didn't sell it at all. It's like, well, surely you would have rather have recouped some cost than none. But... oh, we missed it again. I knew someone would quote Smiling Friends. It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with. It's a shame, because obviously Felipe's, you know, Harvester's a, you know, it's his baby. It was his idea. You know, he created Kerbals as a kid. He used to actually launch little men on rockets. And I think he was right in his interview with Matt in that you've lost the IP. And that IP was actually so valuable. You have the Kerbals. You're actually such a recognizable brand thing. It's like, you know, you could have done so much more with that. There were so many more games you could have made with it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ugh. Ah, not quite. Okay, we've got 45 seconds left. That's all right. What's criminal is how they're keeping the IP to still sell KSP and KSP2 on Steam. Yeah, the fact that KSP2 is still on Steam and marked as early access when it's been abandoned, early access game, and there's no more development happening on it, yeah, really sits wrong with me. So you're supposed to, like, we're gonna fail it. No! I was so close. Okay. You know what? We'll cancel that one. Or we'll try and land, actually. If we land, then we can take off again. Yeah. Doing both of these in one go might be a little too tricky. Something with better low speed. Yeah, I mean, that's what this sort of contract is actually designed for. Let's... yeah, the learning to fly. Let's bin that one. Huh? You can't cancel contracts while on the flight scene. Well, that's news to me. I didn't know that. Okay, I guess we'll just fail it. KSP2 so dynamite literally doesn't exist. That's the thing, right? Like, I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to make myself hate it. And I was like, it's going to get so much better. I don't want to make myself hate it. So, you know, I'll just wait. I'll wait till it's good. So, I played a little bit when it launched. And the game didn't even work. Then I played it maybe a couple hours at most when For Science came out. And I really enjoyed it. But again, I was like, I'm going to wait till it's a bit more complete. Before I do a full playthrough of it or something. And then it died. So, I maybe have 3 hours in it. And obviously I have no inclination to go play more of it. Like, I'm enjoying modded KSP1 with For All Kerbal Kind. We've got a really good thing going on there. People seem to be really enjoying it. I really enjoy it. Got a good thing going on with Juno Conquest. Like, there's just no reason to play it. It's a dead game. And obviously, like, I got it for free. But I feel so bad for the people who paid 50 quid for it. Despite the fact in all my videos on it, even the one that I was positive, like, some people were like, you're a shill, blah, 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 still not worth the money. I'm like, did you watch the video? Like, even in the For Science video, I was like, look, this is way better. Would I recommend buying it for 50 quid? No. Still wait. Wait until it's, like, a way more feature complete. So I was excited because it was going in the right direction, but I still didn't say it was worth the money. I wouldn't have bought it. Anyway, I've been rambling about KSP2 for far too long. Why don't we talk about the game we're actually playing and enjoying? I know we got Pedro in chat. Do we know if there's any plans for a... I was going to say Juno 2, but obviously it was already Simple Rockets 2. I guess Simple Rockets 3 or Juno 2? Any plan for something like that? That's what I'd be interested in. So I know Juno's still getting updates and things. But the only real things you would change fundamentally about Juno now, you'd need basically a complete rebuild for. And, you know, the terrain system, maybe the engine it uses. But to be fair, if you're familiar with the engine is rarely the limitation, so... Our focus is getting Simple Planes 2 out, so not short or mid-term. Yeah. People love Simple Planes. Seems to be a lot of buzz around Simple Planes 2. I saw the trailer. It's a really good trailer. You have negative seconds left to complete the contract. Like how it keeps count of how much you failed the contract for. Just to really rub it in your face. Still the opinion people should have been skeptical as soon as they released those ridiculous minimum PC specs. Oh yeah, I mean, I was concerned. I was first concerned at the Easter event where we first saw like gameplay. Well, even in the preview builds when it was like a 5-part rocket and it was running at 3 frames a second. I was like, okay, I don't think they've made any foundational changes on how the parts and the physics are done, which is the one thing I wanted them to do. Yeah, KSP's weird obsession with calculating the physics for every single part, which turns the rockets into noodles, which Harvester himself admitted was a bug. It was a limitation of the way they did physics. It was not an intended feature. Nate Simpson. And Nate is obviously, because he's the face of the project, gets a lot of flack. Obviously, like, he's not an engineer. He's a marketing guy. He was the creative director. But still, like, he scope crept the project so much, way beyond what they were capable of delivering. And the fact that none of the engineers turned around and said, we can't do this, this isn't possible. But there was nobody in a position to tell him no. It's not great. Being an engineer and knowing people like Nate, who are salespeople, who will promise the ends of the earth with no understanding as to whether or not it's actually technically feasible. You know, having them in a position where there's nobody who can challenge them is really dangerous. Really dangerous. Particularly in engineering, that opens you up to lawsuits and all sorts of horrible stuff. Yeah, and not that I have anything against those people. That's their job. Like, they don't know so much about the technical side of things. They're salespeople. I can't sell anything. You know, they're our internal stakeholder. But they talk with us and they say, okay, is this possible? Like, I don't know how hard this is. Is this possible? Oh, we run out of time? Oh, damn. What? Oh, no. Pedro's just shouting, the time! Ah! Yeah, I wasn't looking at that. I was just losing speed and taking my time. Okay. One more go. One more go. Too passionately ranting about KSP2. But yeah, as I said, you know, you've got that internal stakeholder, but you have the actual then engineering team separate from them with a whole separate hierarchy. Like, this stakeholder man isn't your boss. Yeah, you can say no to them. They come over to the actual project managers in the engineering hierarchy, and then the project managers coordinate with them and say, okay, this is what we can actually deliver. And then they tell you what you need to do. But it's very important to have them in different hierarchies. You can't have the salesman be in charge of the engineers, because they don't know what they're doing in the technical side of things. And they'll go to the engineers and say, do a miracle. And if you manage to somehow deliver that miracle... Oh, that's the wrong one, isn't it? It's, we want this one. If you somehow manage to pull that miracle off, they'll be like, oh, okay, do 5 more miracles. It's just what they expect. They have no understanding of like how complex a task actually is. Here's a little insight into engineering. But that's why those hierarchies exist. That's why that structure of the company exists. Juno's not a better KSP2, Juno is Juno. Exactly that. I couldn't have said it better myself. It took a completely different approach, like fundamentally different approach. That's why I like Juno. That's why I hate KSP2, because it just didn't change anything. But the fact that they changed, I think they did change it predominantly for the worse. Like somehow you managed to make the performance worse than the original. Bizarre. But you know, there's absolutely space for both of them to exist and both of them to succeed, right? But when people say, is it better than KSP2? Yes, of course it is, but it's not a better KSP2. It's not a better KSP. It's just different. Exactly how you said it. Which is why I play both. I wouldn't play both if they don't each have their own merits. If one was just hands down superior to the other one, then I would obviously only play one of them. Didn't realize at the time it's overpriced for an early access, £50. Yeah, that's the deal breaker, right? 50 quid. Like, they would have got so much less backlash if the early access price. Ooh. Oh wait, I think I retargeted the wrong one. Yeah, I want that one. The early access price, like the original, was lower than the full price. Like, if they launched it for like 20 quid, I feel like they would earn way less backlash. So even for me as well, I would have said, yeah, probably worth it for the money, just worth it for the investment. But for everyone that's saying it's a scam, well, it was the least successful scam in history. Because I assure you, Take-Two lost money. Because word of mouth travels fast. Like, it sold well on its like first day because people were excited. People just bought it blindly, but a lot of people refunded it, and a lot of people wait to see what the consensus is, and it just did not have legs sales-wise and player count-wise. I mean, it only took like a couple months for the original game to surpass it in player count, which is just embarrassing. Can't refund it now because I spent more than 2 hours. Oh, ouch, cheese toasties. That's painful. That hurts. That actually physically hurt me. Right, let's try and start bleeding off some speed. Okay, we've got 1 minute left, so let's save there. And you know, let's just fly through this checkpoint, then we can take our time at landing. There we go. On a random node, I would wish Juno had even more fuselage shaping options similar to flying to make crafting with interiors not a 1,000 part endeavor. Yeah, but fly out is borderline like CAD from what I've seen. So there's definitely an argument to be made about making it more accessible. I get that obviously there are always going to be some folks who are going to make the most intricately detailed one-to-one replicas of things. For people like me who, you know, maybe have a little less time, like I have made, for all intents and purposes, a reasonable MiG-21 replica. You can recognize, if you know the aircraft, that it's... Oh, I like it. It's a good thing I made a quick save. You can recognize from the shape of it that it's a MiG-21, right? But you don't need to spend 1,000 hours making it. You can chuck it together on stream. They were ultimately strong-armed by the publishers. It just wasn't developed with the intention of going into early access. So, yeah, it was not. Exactly. And we know that. We know it was never meant to go into early access. But the fact that it was really supposed to release in 2020, and then released in 2023 in that state, it's like, when was it going to be done? Like, how can you have estimated that so appallingly? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is just Nate Simpson. And as I said, he gets too much flack, but Yeah, he does rightly deserve a lot of the flack, but also the people who put him in that position really need to be held accountable. Because he should not have been in that position. He shouldn't have been making those decisions. But I digress. Ideally, you want strong capabilities with the least possible tools. Tiny Glade is a great example. Need more programmers and engineers to make what they promise. Exactly. Yeah, as I said, it was way too art heavy. And as I said, like, the key reason for that is because of their strange hiring practices. They refuse to pay people above a certain amount, which is like the industry standard, and Shadowzone went into detail about it. I'm getting to meet Shadowzone soon. The reason I won't be streaming next week is because I'm going to be at Space Creator Day in Speyer in Germany. I'm really excited, and I'm pretty certain Shadowzone is going to be there. I'm actually going to meet him for the first time. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be hanging out with Laun for a lot of the week. Because contrary to our, like, rivalry, if you can call it a rivalry, we are actually friends. Oh, we lost the cockpit glass, but that's good enough. Sure, we'll cover that. It was originally marketed to be available on PS4 and Xbox. Really? Wow, barely run it with a 30 series. That was never going to happen. I wonder if we could solve this one by landing our moon mission. Nah, there's no way we're going to be accurate enough to do that. We could just quickly do this one. Because we kind of need 5 more tech points. So, you know, let's just real quick just fly that one. And this is just meant to be a touch of a KSP code gradually added to, then they decided to redo the code once they already had so much. Yeah, exactly right. If you were going to make it, you know, do something with as wide a scope as KSP2 had, you needed to do a refactor, if not just a flat-out rewrite of the code. But the thing is, I mean, I've encountered these attitudes in engineering. Corporate people, it's so hard to sell rewriting code. Even though the initial code, right, like, you learn things by writing it, and you learn from that a better way of architecting it from scratch. Like, it's necessary to do that initial write just to learn how to do things. But then from doing that, you learn how to then build it better from the ground up, right? But corpo people always see it as, like, cost per line of code. But the thing is, like, most coding happens up here. It's in actually architecting the solution, figuring out how you're going to do it. Going back and then rewriting that in a more efficient way from the ground up takes an absolute fraction of the time if you're using the same people. Like, once the problem has been solved. But you need to obviously be able to coordinate with the people who solve those problems, which is why it's bizarre that they forbade the KSP2 development team from talking to the KSP1 development team. Like, even in Shadowzone's interview, like, apparently when they did finally bring them on, they were like, why didn't you ask us this, like, a year ago? We've solved this such a long time ago, you know? And end up reinventing the wheel and solving the same problems. And sometimes their solutions are worse than the originals, right? Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. No, we're not going to make that. Was the original team going to rewrite all the code to make a better game? Take-Two told them no because it would take too long, so they patched it all badly. Yeah, exactly. Like, patching can only get you so far. When you're building a new product from the ground up and you want to build that much on top of it, you got to do a rewrite. You got to rewrite it to support those things, because the initial code was written with certain assumptions that don't hold anymore. You're going to push that initial foundation way past what it was designed for. It needed a complete rewrite. As I said, it's always so hard to sell suits on a rewrite of code. They see, you know, cost per line of code. We spent this much money on this code. I want to, you know, it's like as if it's throwing it away. But it's like, no, like, it's a necessary step to then having a better solution, right? It's, you know, people who don't understand programming making decisions about programming. Okay, well, that landing was a little bit better. There we go. KSP started out as a game that wasn't even fully 3D. Yep, you're absolutely right. It started 2.5D, which is interesting. That's then they just went, what happens if we open up the third axis? Interestingly similar to Juno, because if I remember correctly, Simple Rockets 2 was just going to be 2.5D, right? But only on a 2D plane. And then evolved. Right, finally! Proper parachutes. Gimme. Gimme. Heck yeah! Cool. Okay, so. Lunar flyby. Let's do this thing. There's no way that can be patched into interstellar multiplayer. Yeah, exactly. Patching in multiplayer. Like, how bizarre is that? It's the reason why add multiplayer is a meme, right? Like, if you're going to add multiplayer to something, it has to be built in from day one. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Right, what did we name this thing? Was it Supplica? Yeah, it was. Here we are. Okay, well, let's improve this thing a little bit more. That's when we added all the... this is the one that we did the rendezvous with, isn't it? So it's got a lot less fuel. I kind of like the RCS, though, so I think we will... Yeah, we'll build off of this. We'll save this as the fourth one. But we are going to remove this fairing. And we're going to get rid of all of these as well. There we go. Get rid of that too. Okay, and then we should now just be able to add an actual parachute onto this thing. Perfect. That looks a little bit better, doesn't it? Okay, and then this upper stage needs to be a little bit longer. We don't need this much monopropellant for sure, because we're not doing a rendezvous this time. Hey, we did a rescue mission last time, didn't we? I kind of forgot about that. How much is in this? How much monopropellant we got in here? Oh no, this is a... this is the monopropellant tank, isn't it? Yeah, and this is the fuel tank. So this can be shrunk. Yeah, so the coupler up there. There we go. That's probably more than enough of what we need. Right, so we've got those two. What's if you look at our stage diagram. So we've got, yeah, maybe don't fire the parachute in stage one. Check your staging. And that, and then that. And then the parachute. Yep. We've got 6.5 kilometers a second of delta V. From what I recall, that's more than enough. I'm just going to double check the Juno delta V map. Here we are. So it's about 4, and then to get to Luna, it's about another 1,300. So you need 5,500. Do a flyby. If you want to go into a low orbit, it's another 1,000. But we're just doing another flyby, so that's more than enough. Yeah, we're fine. We are good. Okay. SFS2 Space Flight Simulator. We watched the trailer for it in the last stream. Right, we got a new Druid. Essa Fritz. I'm going to put you in the capsule this time. And here we go. Right, let's launch this thing. I did edit the parallax settings So it has way more control over the LOD, which means that our stutter on launch is way less than it used to be. So you get a little stutter here just as it loads in, but it's allowed to scale it down. I need to allocate a little bit more memory, I think, to, I believe it's its shaders. Just gonna untarget that. How do I untarget the DSP port? Maybe I just target something else. Is that Luna or is that's Brigo, isn't it? Here we go. There we are. But yeah, I need to allocate a little bit more RAM to it. But I'm getting a RAM upgrade soon because I've got 32 gigs and I'm upgrading it to a truly insane 128 soon. DDR5 as well. Getting a whole new PC upgrade. So yeah, because particularly with the new For All Kerbal Kind mod pack using BlackRock's deferred rendering and everything, yeah, it's getting a bit insane. Oh, we don't need the RCS on just yet. There we are. But yeah, I think it will speed up my productivity, not just the video editing, but also the recording, just loading the game and playing For All Kerbal Kind. That mod pack is getting intensive. So it should hopefully improve those load times. And KSP1 still leaks memory like a sieve, so just having more memory for it to leak into just means I can go longer without having to restart the game. It's a whole PC upgrade. Well, I'm salvaging quite a few bits and bobs from my current PC, but the thing is, my decision that I want to move to DDR5 meant that, yeah, for productivity that's going to be massive. But although obviously for me I am going to look a little closer at the latency rather than the specific transfer speed, because that's more applicable to gaming. So probably going around the 5,000 mega transfers a second, 5,400 region. But yeah, my decision to do that from what was originally just going to be a memory upgrade means that I had to get a new motherboard and I have to get a new processor. And I was always planning to get a new case as well, because my current case is not big enough for the stuff I put into it. And let me just check where's my F-Mapsis? There we go. Oh yeah, we can start pitching over a little bit more aggressively. We'll probably throttle down a bit as well. Pin that there. Oh, we're losing control of the rocket a little bit. I'll put the RCS on. There we go. But yeah, I need to get a motherboard and a new case and everything. Because my stepdad needs a new PC anyway, so I'm I was always going to sort of collect all of my old PC components. I've had like an old graphics card and hard drive and loads of bits and bobs lying around, like almost enough to build a new computer. I was just going to get some secondhand things for him, and then I realized, actually, you know what, it would just be easier if I just salvaged a few components out of my current computer, and then just put those old components back into it and then gave him that, because it's more than good enough for what he needs. Just be a little bit easier rather than sort of ripping the motherboard out and doing a rebuild of it. Easier from a compatibility standpoint. But yeah, I'm just going to take out the SSDs. I've got a couple of M.2 SSDs and a 20 terabyte hard drive for video recordings. So take all the memory, well, the storage stuff out, not the memory stuff. And I'm going to take the graphics card out. I've got an old 1070 lying around, so I'll put that into this one. And then I'm going to take my 3090 out, because obviously a 3090 is more than good enough, particularly playing KSP and stuff. Doesn't really use the graphics hardware that much, so 3090 was really more for the video editing and also to play KSP2, but then I barely played it. But it obviously is nice to have the ability to do ray tracing, not that I've played a single game that utilizes it yet. And okay, there we are. Almost in orbit. Having changed my control scheme so that I actually know which buttons to press certainly makes things easier. Awesome. I do like how shiny our spacecraft is. That's a bit of fun. AMD or Intel? AMD. Intel's definitely still cornered the sort of, I guess, the top end of the market. Yeah, if you want absolute ultimate performance, I still reckon go Intel, but you just can't beat AMD for price to performance ratio. My current processor is a 3800X Ryzen 7th gen. I'll probably move up to the 9th gen. So I do whatever the whatever the numbers are at this point. Not the, is it the 950? Yeah, whatever the really top of the line one is, I'm not gonna get that. I'll get like one or two below that. I think whichever modern one had 12 threads. No, 12 cores, 24 threads, I reckon it was. Last time I checked. That's probably what I'll go for. About the newest, highest tier Intel CPUs frying and oxidizing themselves. Wow, okay. Guess I definitely won't go for them then. Yeah, I've been Team Red for a while. Since I built this PC, actually. Because once the 7th gen Ryzens came out, the price to performance was just incredible. It was just no competition. Like building a new PC, it was just hands down AMD was the way to go. Nobody's surprised your Team Red comrade. Nice one, Pedro. 7800. Yeah, so that's it. So it's because they got the storage directly on the CPU. That's so appealing to me. Not just for gaming, but for productivity and video editing as well. That's kind of what they're designed for, which is just amazing. And particularly with KSP being so CPU heavy, I was thinking with KSP 2 that I wouldn't need to do another CPU upgrade, because obviously they moved the physics over to the GPU. But looks like I'm going to be playing KSP 1 for the foreseeable future, and yeah, that's sort of the foundation of the content I do on YouTube. So, you know, I basically need to just keep upgrading my PC to keep up with more and more expensive mod packs in processing power terms. Alright, so there's Luna. So we're going to use the same method we used last time. We wait till it comes over the horizon. So yeah, I didn't think I'd need to upgrade my processor after getting the last one. Like for like 10 years, I thought it'd be future-proofed. Getting a 7th gen, but that was, thinking about it now, yeah, that was 6 years ago. So it's lasted me a while. And it, you know, massively sped up the rate at which I could record and edit beyond Kerbal. It was actually the end of Endurance that I got it. And that was sort of the fact that I was able to play the game so much longer and so much faster sort of gave me the boost I needed to have the willpower to make Beyond Kerbal a whole follow-up series. But yeah, those are the big things that really need to just be even faster. It's just my CPU, and I need to have a lot more memory, and faster memory at that. So, you know, the Ryzen CPUs with the actual memory on the CPU itself, and a lot more and a lot faster memory. That's the way to go. For me, at least. Because otherwise, my CPU is rarely a bottleneck, right? But when you're playing CPU-heavy games, yeah, even for gaming, right, it's rarely CPU bottleneck. But with KSP, particularly KSP 1, it does tend to be. Alright, we'll start burning our engines now, I reckon. Would there be a mod for KSP that makes the GPU run the calculations of the CPU? That's That's far beyond mod territory, buddy. That is not something you can just patch in. That is a very, very fundamental part of a game. It's not something you can just mod. How did you make KSP Endurance so entertaining? I mean, I have to ask you that. I think with any YouTube series, I think people pick up on your enthusiasm. So if you're enthusiastic about something, people can't help but get caught up in it, I think. Obviously, I was really passionate about it. I was enjoying it. I was doing interesting stuff that no one else was doing. Particularly in that mod pack with the light story elements. It had a unique spin on it. And that's what I'm very keen to do with everything I do, right? I never follow trends. I never do stuff because it's popular. I always do my own thing, stuff that I would be interested in watching. And I try and put a unique spin on it. There's no point doing something someone else has already done. Like For All Kerbal Kind. Nothing else like that exists on YouTube, right? And that's, I think, why people love it. It's the only thing that does what it does. People can't go somewhere else for that. For realism overhaul multiplayer. And really for KSP multiplayer stuff in general. I say, multiplayer in inverted commas, but people are obviously excited by the concept. When KSP 2 promised it, people were really, really jazzed about it. And there's a certain excitement to that, having multiple perspectives, having a space race, people taking teams, getting invested, It adds a lot of excitement and a lot of engagement. And you have double the reach for the series because you've got 2 different YouTubers, or 3 different YouTubers now. All sort of playing in the same sandbox. I think it's kind of vital because, the space race was a huge, huge part of the moon landings, right? You have to have that competition element. I think it makes it so much more interesting, so much more exciting. And to both do things differently. You got 2 different fresh perspectives, and you end up with shenanigans as well. Let's not lie to ourselves. People wanted Space Wars. You're absolutely right, Pedro. Yes. But yeah, I think that's what I try and do with the stuff that I make, is just try and do stuff that nobody else is doing. And even when I do the science videos and things, it's telling people, well, they're wrong about something, which is really just, the common narrative or something is wrong with regards to nuclear fusion, or doing stuff like building a Venus rover, which is not something that I think many people have had the opportunity to do. So, we'll have hopefully found interesting because of that. Science videos are great. Yeah, people really seem to enjoy them. The thing is, they didn't do that great. Like, the nuclear fusion video I'd hoped would have done a bit better. But the Venus rover video actually did really great. Like, I was actually really pleasantly surprised with how well that actually did. It did about as well as I would expect a For All Kerbal Kind video to do. So considering, obviously it took way more effort than that, but considering it's sort of, me breaking out into a different genre, I was very happy with that video's performance. And it did about as well as For All Kerbal Kind, but it was predominantly new viewers watching it, which is really, really good. So I was really, really happy with how that video performed. At first it wasn't. At first I was like, oh, it's going to be another nuclear fusion video. But no, since then it's actually, yeah, the videos had legs, But it says everything, kind of comes back to Pedro's point that the best performing, not in view count, but in how fast it got views, best performing video in For All Kerbal Kind was the militarization video with the picture of the military, like the Soyuz gunship, shooting a missile in the thumbnail. It's just exciting, isn't it? People love, Cold War-esque. Oh, hello! Paul's donated. You get to see one of the new donation animations. Sorry I can't stick around. Great to see you as always. Thanks, Paul. Thank you as always. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for the tip. It's always really appreciated. Yeah, I spent like ages on a whole bunch of new like stream donation animations with the little penguin art and stuff, and then because I haven't been streaming KSP and these sort of regular streams rather than the one-off streams like the building streams that tend to sort of get engagements and tips from people. Yeah, not that I mind obviously, but yeah, nobody's really got a chance to see them. But there you go, that's one of them. Yeah, people do love military stuff. It's just that Cold War shenanigans thing, right? Like, people love Cold War space exploration. Like, For All Mankind Season 2-esque stuff. It's just so exciting. It's so interesting that, you know, space was still such an unknown frontier. And, you know, when everything was neck and neck, you don't know what the Russians are up to in space. You know, lots of, like, you know, the concept of, like, early space Black Ops missions, you know, with Gemini or with Dinosaur, and it's just such a cool thing. There was an episode of Dark Skies. Or Space Aligned, which is this like Cold War alien sci-fi kind of X-Files-esque show that I kind of grew up with and really loved. And there's an episode of that focused on the Gemini program, because of course they launch a Gemini mission and then it gets intercepted by an alien spacecraft. Man, such a good episode. I mean, looking back, I don't know, it's probably not good because I loved it as a kid, so I guess the production values of the show maybe don't hold up with time, but I really loved that show back in the day. I think it was called Gemini Rising, or maybe it was Mercury Rising. It might have been a Mercury mission. I had 2 people on it, so it was definitely, yeah, I think they were flying on a Gemini prototype. There we go, that's our inclination change. Let's see if we can get ourselves a little bit closer. Right, is that the right? Yeah. Perfect. Just adjust with the RCS. Who needs maneuver nodes? Should we try and do a free return? That could be fun. I mean, we only got to fly by. Free return trajectory is kind of flexing, so let's go for it. Free return trajectory! Oh, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between. Heck yeah! Free return without maneuver nodes. Flex. Get flexed on. Okay, we can probably disable the target view. And let's just enjoy our flyby now. Now I turn the target view off. I can't see where the where Luna is. We're flying by the dark side, so it's maybe not going to be the most interesting view. Completed the contract, Luna flyby. Oh, you didn't even need to return them back safely. You just needed to get them there. Could I cheese this and go collect an orbit contract? No. Okay. Unfortunately, no. Oh! Oh, Brigo one. Can we get to Brigo? Oh, I have to launch a new craft, though. Ah! They know all my tricks! Lame. We can't just cheese it. Okay. Flex, that's easy for you. You have a master's in spacecraft engineering. You are right. You are exactly right. But doesn't stop me enjoying it. Yeah, so Juno isn't 1/10. It's about 1/5, I believe. Yeah, you are correct. You should do more streams so your patrons get to talk to you, but they'd do great. No bias or anything. If you want to come on stream, Lags, you can come on stream. You can just ask. I don't tend to get that much patron interest in coming on the Juno streams, honestly. They usually want to come onto the KSP streams. Those are the ones that tend to get a little bit more traffic and usually a bit more what some of them are interested in, because they're interested in what I'm doing for all Kerbal Kind and sort of invested in the space race with N9. But these streams tend to be a little bit, well, I say a little bit, a lot more chill. So I'm sort of really just relaxing and enjoying the game, whereas for Couple Kind, I'm really trying to like focus and design things. Like, I think my engagement is so much better in these streams, just even with the chat, because the chat is slow enough that I can read it. Obviously, I don't get to every message, but also I can actually talk about things. Whereas in the For All Couple Kind streams, I'm usually just silent for a lot of them, and I'm just focusing on. You know, we might not even be too far from this port, which is kind of wild. But I'm focusing on trying to build something. But people love their streams; they do really, really well. So that's why I keep doing them. But not necessarily because they're helpful for my like productivity, really. Wow, we're actually going to land real close to this port. I know I was joking about like completing the port contract, but I think we might actually. We want to go north. Here we go. I've got that when you change your camera view, it changes the way that these lock. That's cool. That's real cool. KSP should do this. Every time I play Juno, I discover like a cool new feature that's just like a quality of life thing that just really makes me smile. It was a streamer you built one of the interstellar ships beyond Kerbal. You had a bunch of us on. Yeah, so that was very shortly after I created a Patreon. So that's why I had everybody on. Why is this struggling to lock retrograde so hard? So yeah, so I wanted to thank all of the sudden influx of Emperor tier patrons, so I brought them all onto that Beyond Kerbal stream, which was a lot of fun, yeah. I could do something else like that at some point. Newt Newt has thrown £5 at the stream. Thank you very much, Newt Newt. Greatly appreciated. Appropriate named to the sound effect. Thank you very kindly. If you couldn't already tell, you can watch this explode. Go kaboom! You get a real nice view of the re-entry effects. It's at night time. This is one of my comments about Spaceflight Simulator 2, is that Juno's re-entry effects are better. In fact, I think Juno's re-entry effects are better than KSP2's re-entry effects. But yeah, if you hadn't noticed, that particular animation is for the highest donation so far this stream. You get the little champagne bottle failing to smash against the rocket, which I thought was a bit fun. But there are a couple of other little animations. Appreciate Elion to talk to me too. Yeah. Back in the days when me and Ellie were on speaking terms. If you wondered why all of those XCOM streams are now private. Or maybe they're unlisted, actually. They might be unlisted. Don't know if I made them private. Would you ever do another Interstellar series? If I was going to, it would have to be in another planet pack. Maybe not the Beyond Home planet pack, but that one does immediately come to mind. Like Games Links has absolutely set the standard with planet packs. So maybe that, or I think I had someone else suggest something else. It wouldn't be for a long time. It certainly wouldn't be while For All Kerbal Kind is still going, because I barely have time even to do that as it is. So, you know, not for a long while yet. I imagine... Oh, hello. We've flipped over there. I imagine For All Kerbal Kind will keep going for at least another year, I reckon. Because we want to end it when we land on Mars. And then we'll either do a sequel series to it, like same sort of history, but sort of next millennium, Carnassa style thing, where we have a different focus and where it won't be in career mode, most likely. Because otherwise, none of your missions to the outer planets would just ever get there while you're just doing your day-to-day, paying the bills back home. Did I not stage the parachute? I think I staged the parachute. Oh, no, I did. Okay, we're good. Phew! That could have been bad. If you aren't speaking in terms of my wife, I'm not sure where that puts me. I forgot that Ellie was your wife. Well, I mean, maybe you'd still be on speaking terms with her. You never know. I won't get into that. But yeah, it would obviously be with the modern suite of mods. I wouldn't use KSP Interstellar Extended. I would use the near future and far future suite of mods. Sort of the standard's been set by those, I reckon. I would still use USI, MKS for sure. I would still use those. Maybe use the better than starting manned tech tree. You know, I just don't know how I'd make it unique though. I don't know how I'd make it unique. That's the thing. I'd be more interested in doing an RSS series in Juno, honestly, if I were to sort of commit to another long series like that. I would rather do something in Juno. And I always sort of have ideas for what I'd do in Juno. And there's a lot of stuff you can do in Juno that you can't do in KSP, particularly Visi-wise. We are traveling a little fast. I hope we're not hitting too fast. Okay. We took a bit of damage, but I think we're okay. I think we might have broken our little Ether Fritz Druid's teeth there with that landing. N9 Gaming's here. Nobody tell Beardy I'm here observing flying techniques. Cheers, Ed9. Hello, I didn't realize you were in the stream. You've been lurking in the chat there, haven't you? Discreetly. Right, how much is it going to cost us to recover this? Not too much, actually. You know what? Yeah, we're not so far away that we can't recover this. So, yeah, sure. I think it's a lot cheaper for us to recover on land because we haven't unlocked the dock yet. Apparently, water recoveries are a lot cheaper once you've actually unlocked boats, which does make a lot of sense. Thanks for the donation, N9. Nice to see you, bud. Been too long since I gave you some money. Good thing I don't pay for tuition. You've got to rub it in every time that you're an apprentice and you're not in 60+ grand's worth of debt. Boy, oh boy. It must be nice. Must be nice. Aha. Okay. What time is it? Should we go to Brigo orbit? I reckon we go to Brigo orbit. I don't think we're going to land on Luna today. We're sort of just working our way towards it. I think we've got all the tech we need, but not really the launch site I want. Because what's the largest rocket we can actually launch from the alley pad? The maximum of 50 meters tall, 9 meters wide. I don't know if that's tall enough. Like, how big is our current rocket? Because it's going to need a heck of a lot bigger to actually land. I mean, unless we dock, but in which case we need to unlock docking ports. This is 26 meters. I mean, we could possibly do it. You guys want to start building a moon rocket? Velociraptor, I enjoyed the XCOM streams. Sadly, my character did not survive for long. Yeah, those were fun streams. I enjoyed doing them. But, yeah, unfortunately, any friends that I've ever featured in anything on my channel, like, it's only ever been people I've been friends with for a long time to take the risk of featuring them in case I fall out with them, right? And then every single time I have featured someone on my channel, I've fallen out with them. Well, they've fallen out with me. So now I just don't ever feature friends on my YouTube channel. Even more recently as well, with like the esports video and stuff. Like every single time I've featured someone on the channel, they've then fallen out with me. It's some kind of curse. So, you know, I'm not going to subject anyone else to that. Right, let's just build... Should we build a new craft or extend this one? I reckon extend this one. But we want a new name. I need a new brand of vodka. Can someone please provide me with one before we start building a moon rocket? I don't know if it'll land today. If it does land today, it probably won't go back today. But yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. We've got a little while. Traverica. Endeavour. No. We only name our rockets after vodka brands. That is absolutely a brand of vodka. I think. I don't know. It's a Mediterranean herbal liqueur from Croatia. Okay. Sure. We'll go with that. Velociraptor got in first. And yes, you're... and Black Eagle saying, yeah, the character was reincarnated about 3 times. Yeah, we kept running out of names, which says a lot, because we had a lot of people watch those streams, and everyone got a soldier. And it shows you just how fast your soldiers die in that game. You're going through them so fast that we were running out of names for people. We already had an absolute. We already had absolute 1 and absolute 2. I believe that was our. Yeah, those are some of our initial rockets. There they are. Some of our really early ones. We had a whole bunch of different planes and things, haven't we? Santa Cruz. We've got our Smirnoff rockets, which look a little sus. We've got our Soplica rockets. Now this one. What's the Casa 3? Oh, yeah. That was our sus plane. That's a bit of fun. Okay. Right. Let's have a little think about this. So, let's have a look at the Delta V. I'm going to get my Delta V map up on one side. Perfecto. Okay. So, you know what? We're going to land on the moon. I'm going to need another beer. So I'm going to take a very quick 5-minute break. I'm going to start designing our moon rocket. We just settled for tequila brands. I'm not overly fond of tequila, honestly. I like golden tequila. If you do golden tequila with cinnamon and orange, honestly, I've literally sat and drunk an entire bottle of golden tequila. Love it. Absolutely love it. Silver tequila, no, not really a fan, unless it's in the cocktails. Yeah, I'll do it for a bit of fun, salt and lime, but if I actually want to enjoy what I'm drinking, golden tequila all the way. Anyway, I will be back in less than 5 minutes. I just need to quickly grab myself another beer, because we're going to land on Luna. You know what? I've decided it. If not Luna, then maybe Brigo, but we'll land on one of them. Whichever one's easier. Probably Brigo. See you guys in a minute. Do you guys like the new be right back thing? I quite like it. I did a whole bunch of new assets for streaming. Then for the last like 2 streams, nobody's even seeing because I didn't even take a break for the last few ones. SpaceX may launch Starship regardless of FAA approval. Crikey. Aren't they already like being taken to court for violating a launch license? That's a surefire way to get yourself sued into oblivion. Bad idea. Also, if N9's still in chat, or lags, you are welcome to come chat if you want. You can come on the stream. You're very welcome to. Could always do with making my streams a little bit more lively. So let's work our way backwards from the lander. Does Juno have a cheats menu? I have no idea. So Brigo is obviously... Oh, not even actually. It's... Oh, the one that's like really small is TT. But actually Luna and Brigo require almost identical Delta V to reach and to land on. So, okay. So we'll go for Luna, I reckon. We'll go for Luna. Because... Yeah, they're basically the same. Brigo's the interesting looking one. Probably harder to land on though. So if you look up, Brigo and Luna have the same apparent size. Yeah, I did notice that. I think it's obviously because one's a different size to the other, but they're in different orbits, so they look like they're the same, which is interesting. We'll go for Luna. I reckon it's more sort of appropriate to be your first one. So we need... So to return from the surface, if we just do like an ascent stage, so let's just sort of throw this in the bin. We don't need this much RCS, we're not docking with anything, so you know what, we'll just throw that in the bin, throw that in the bin. I might still shrink this further. We don't need that much monopropellant. That's probably enough. For the entire mission... Oh, it can't hurt to have a bit more. We'll have that much. Sure. And then if we move that up to there. Nice. Bottom of the flight info panel there is a cheats menu hotkey. Oh, okay. Good to know. I mean, I'm not going to be cheating. I'm not a cheater. But, yeah, still good to know. Okay, how much Delta V has this thing got in a vacuum? 2 kilometers a second. That is not enough. Can we change the planet? We can, absolutely. Okay, Luna. What's its thrust weight ratio? Yeah, more than high enough, but we don't have enough Delta V here to get all the way back, I don't think. So it's 1800 and another 1000 to break orbit. Another 120 from there, and then you're sort of plain sailing. So really, you need like 3,500, I reckon. So what are we thinking? Like, this is actually a bigger ascent stage than I thought. Unless we're going to do Lunar Orbit Rendezvous, which we don't have docking ports, so can't do. So we'd have to, like, jump a druid across, have him attached, and then... no, doesn't even bear thinking about. I suppose... This is just our ascent stage as well. We just have to make this a bit longer. So we really need 3.5... Can we... We don't need gimbal, so that'll make the engine a bit cheaper and a bit lighter. Yeah, because we've got our RCS. Yeah, we need 3.5, really. So we could make it multi-stage. That does feel a bit unnecessary. I reckon just make it a little bit wider. So if we use the decoupler here to just widen this out. How wide do they make that? 1.2. Go 1.25. That's a KSP number. That looks a little silly, but it's fine. It's fine. We can make it a little bit longer. Yeah. We just need to offset those. Oop. Didn't mean to do that. These little RCS ports that I've now got clipped in here. Is there a WASD camera with Juno? Is that like something in the options? Can someone tell me that? Can I get a WASD camera so I can move a little easier? That would be nice. Cool. Okay, 3.5. There we go. That's the delta V we need. But our thrust to weight ratio, even from Luna, is not great. I reckon maybe another engine. I reckon 2 engines is the way to go here. There we go. Get it on radial. Doopy-doo. If we move the whole thing, so its Z position is 0, its Y position is 0, X position is 0. There we go. That makes moving these engines a bit easier. Cool. I do love that you can directly edit coordinates, man. Makes things so much easier. Okay. That looks okay as a lunar ascent stage. Sure. I don't know if we can make these engines a bit better. They're currently pressure fed. So maybe we make them gas generators. If we make them a bit smaller. Do we need one of these? Thrust weight ratio is high enough. We still don't really get a big enough performance boost to make the extra mass worth it. No. Nope. Put them back to pressure fed. Is he still pressure fed? Yeah. Just not a big enough performance gain to make the extra mass worth it. Actually, the altitude bar set to surface. You want a better thrust rate ratio display for the surface. I doubt that would make much of a difference. Yeah. It's yeah, the difference in gravity is negligible, really. As you can see, the thrust weight does not change. Maybe like less than 1%. And the change between sea level doesn't have seas, ground level and orbit. Yeah, there's no atmosphere, so it's a nice thought, but nah, that's fine. Okay, right. So that's our ascent stage. I reckon we've got enough delta V there. I think we'll be fine. Now we just need to have the landing stage. So we need to sort of surround this. And we need to have some chonky landing legs. But I reckon we surround it with like 3. We could probably use the same engines, just surround it with fuel tanks. I mean, we've got... actually, a thrust to weight ratio. The more fuel we have, the better these engines will be if we make them gas generators. This looks like silly with this tiny little engine. But you know, as a landing engine, I mean, that's what we need. I reckon one of these, actually. So this needs to have a bit more fuel. Okay, there we go, 3.5. 3.5 actually is a bit too much, if anything. How's that? Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, it means that the engine's a bit shorter as well, which means we've got much more clearance for our landing legs. One of the most interesting things about these streams to me is watching someone actually play the game in the intended sort of engineering-y way. I mostly play to make pretty detailed craft. I mean, yeah, that's how I'm always going to play these, is how to solve a problem, right? Engineering problem. I'm not really an aesthetics person. When I am, it's because I'm making a replica of a vehicle, but even then, you know, when it comes to the procedurality and everything, I can't make insanely detailed craft like a lot of people in the community can. This is how I design things in For All Kerbal Kind. You just work backwards. Like, okay, how much do I need to do the final phase of the mission? Okay, then how much do I need to get that there, and just work back. Good approach to it. Still up for some company? I am indeed up for some company. You are more than welcome to join the stream, lags. Let me give you a ring. I need to set up my Discord so that people can hear you first. Doopy 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 doo. Voice and video. Output device. There we go. Did people hear the bloop when I set the audio device? Hopefully they did. Let me check my voice meter and just check that. People hear that? It looked like people, like you should be able to hear it. Well, people can't hear lags. We'll find out shortly. Let's give her a ring. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing, lags?
I'm okay. I'm pretty tired. I had 6-hour labs today.
6-hour labs.
Yep.
Oh, wowza. The life of an apprentice?
An astrophysics student, a third-year astrophysics student.
Oh wait, you're just Scottish, aren't you? That's why you don't play tuition. I thought you were an apprentice. I'm mixing up with Steak, aren't I?
Yeah. Although Steak's finished his apprenticeship.
Oh really? I haven't spoken to
yeah.
Steak in a long time. I mean, Steak's obviously my community manager, but has just like drops in every now and then, but it's been a little bit like quiet. Probably presumably since starting work, I'd imagine, right? Yeah.
I mean, he worked. I'm fairly sure he worked at a different thing for a little while, but he's at it's obviously not my information to share, but he's at something new now. It's really cool. I'd urge you to talk to him about it. I won't say it on stream, but yeah, it's great. But yeah, no, I'm still at uni. Probably will be for a while because it's Scottish third year as well, so it's second year for you.
Oh, so you're there longer and you don't pay for it?
Yep.
How do I sign up to? How do I become Scottish?
That's a good question. I think it's pretty easy. I think you just have to live here for a little while. I don't think we're too stingy about it.
Well, I already hate the British, you know, so I feel like that's the biggest like requirement.
That's about it, to be honest. And if you like drinking, you know.
Oh, sign me up. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Have you been here? We haven't spoken in probably spoken. You haven't been on stream in like years.
Yeah, I think that that stream with Ellie was probably the last time I was on stream.
Right. Wow. Someone thought
Unless
that you'd invite me for a round of Lethal Company rather than Company on stream.
Maybe. You feel up for it? I have it. I've never played it.
I don't actually own it. I think people are here for the Juno New Origins, but
Yeah, of course. Fair dues. Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, lots happened since. I don't think I was at uni at that point.
Were you not? I swear you were.
I think I was like, I was probably the summer before I went to uni. It must have been.
Well, I'm currently trying to design a lander, as you can probably see.
Yeah.
Stage 1's... It's not showing me the Delta V readouts properly, though. I've enabled, like, the fuel transfer. So it should be transferring from these fuel tanks through into... Oh, I don't think I put any fuel in them. That would probably help.
That would help, yeah.
There we go. Let's put some fuel in. And suddenly we have Delta V. Okay. Right.
Good, good.
Oh no, is the readout still working?
It's gone up for me, although I'm still watching your stream, so I'll have a delay.
I've put fuel in them, but the Delta V doesn't change when I change the amount of fuel they have.
Oh.
Which is odd. I've definitely got my staging right. Oh no, the staging's changed. There we go. The staging moved for some reason. Okay, right, let's try that. So putting more fuel in decreases the Delta V. I think because our thrust to weight ratio is suddenly so bad. I guess I can't just throw more fuel at a problem. I have to actually put some more engines on.
Yeah.
The tyranny of the rocket equation. God
I'm so not familiar with the Juno, like, readouts.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to from KSP. I say the only thing I miss sort of about KSP really in this is seeing the hangar and the little Kerbals walking around and stuff. Like something like that would be a bit fun.
Yeah, that's iconic. I have that the hangar music, like, it plays in my brain sometimes. I've spent so much time there.
I mean, it's just Kevin MacLeod, isn't it? So.
Is it just Kevin MacLeod?
Yeah, the entire soundtrack is.
Oh right.
The entire KSP soundtrack is just Kevin MacLeod. It's just royalty-free music.
Oh right, that explains why I hear that music elsewhere. I have for ages just thought that people were playing the KSP soundtrack.
No, it's just royalty-free music.
That does make more sense.
That's why I loved KSP 2 having its own soundtrack, and like the sound design of KSP 2 is incredible, obviously. So one of the few things is like, yeah, definite upgrade. You did a really good job at that.
Yeah, I never experienced that. I don't know if you saw, I was saying I never got KSP 2.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's so much of the soundtrack that I've never experienced because each planet apparently had its own unique theme and it was all adaptive. And I experienced it cool. When I went to the moon for science, and suddenly it starts playing like drums. It starts playing the moon theme. It's all adaptive and amazing. And I was like, whoa! I made a point of that and the ambience and everything. I made a point of that in the video. I haven't experienced most of what the game has to offer because it's so horrible and jank and awful. Like to actually get to another planet and delete some quick saves and stuff. Like, yeah, it just wasn't.
Yeah, that's.
Wasn't
no, fair enough. I mean, I've never properly experienced KSP 2 at all, so.
Yeah, you're not missing much, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my thought process. My intention was always like, just buy it when it is worth it, and I always had like I fully expected it to be worth it at one point. I never doubted the devs. It was just I forgot to account for the fact that publishers, and marketing and
exactly the same as me.
Shareholders and everything.
Alas. Alas.
Yeah. To be, I was saying, I don't even think I'd be very, like, I'd recognize the KSP 1 stats at this point. It's been so long since I've played it.
Have you touched Realism Overhaul at all? Or not?
No, nope, never.
Do you watch For All Kind out of interest? Or is
Um,
that not part of your interest?
a little, maybe. I definitely watched the start of it a bit. But Realism Overhaul was never something that wasn't why I liked KSP, to be honest. So I've definitely seen bits of it here and there, but not properly, no. I know, fake fan, right? But like,
No, you're entitled. You're entitled to watch what you want to watch. Was it Yeah. So I also know that you like the XCOM streams and Beyond. Was Beyond Kerbals the one that?
yeah, I think it was Endurance and Beyond Kerbal that I was always that were like my favorites. But I've watched most of I watched some of everything you've done, I think. I even like, was it you that did Collaborative Warfare?
Yeah, it was me that did that. That's a blast from the past, crikey.
I went and like watched a lot of it as or listened to, I suppose. I had it as like background music while I was working. Or not background music. I had it as like something to kind of like half pay attention to while I was working, but it was quite good for that. You have a very it's very very good to have on while you're doing something else. Not in a bad way.
No, I'm surprised you say that, honestly, particularly in those days. Like, life hadn't beaten my enthusiasm out of me yet, so I was really energetic and my voice was a bit higher in pitch as well, because I was 15 when I did Collaborative Warfare.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I was young. Like, that's why Tape was so hesitant about doing it with me. Because obviously, he just got a message out of the blue from some random kid with 500 subscribers being like, hey, do you want to do a collaborative series? And the fact he even gave me the time of day, like, I'm still... honestly, most people did not. YouTubers smaller than Tape did not. Because he had about 5K, 10K at the time. That was the hardest part, was just getting people to even listen to me. But then once I explained the idea, he's like, oh, that's a really good idea, actually. Okay, no, I'm in. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a hard sell at first. But as soon as he actually listened to what I had to say about it, he was fully on board.
Yeah.
Was nice.
Was that 10 years ago now? Not quite.
Not quite 10 years, because we had was it the 5-year anniversary where I brought them all on stream for Beyond Kerbal? When was that? Let me have a little look. I'm gonna go have a little scroll. So let's just search on my channel, Beyond Kerbal. When was that anniversary stream? Doopy-doopy-doopy-doo. Of course they're not in order. Let me look at the playlist. Here we go. Yeah, that's 4 years ago. So yeah, that was the 5-year anniversary stream. So I got almost all of them. I got Tape, Agonarch, and Twitchy. I couldn't get Space Game Junkie, but he was sort of barely part of it anyway. Yeah, wow. That's one of the big criticisms people had of it, was it's like, why'd you get a guy who, like, Space Game Junkie, a guy who doesn't know how to play the game to play the unit? It's like, you do not understand how difficult it was to get anyone, and he was the biggest YouTuber out of all of us. So why I wasn't gonna say I'm gonna turn him down. He's like, oh, you're not very good at the game. Like, that was just not a concern. Just getting it made was definitely the bigger concern. But yeah. People were like, a lot of people were like, oh, you're stupid for including him. And so also, A, we didn't know until we started either, but B, how could I have known that he was kind of crap at it.
Oh, if you want to talk, I'm kind of crap at KSP. I don't know if I've ever properly done things beyond Juno.
Beyond what, sorry?
beyond Juno in KSP. I've and I have like I have like 1,500, 2,000 hours in that game. Um,
Wow,
so yeah,
that's something.
I think I've like started a lot of missions, but I think
Mm.
it like I never think I like sat them through. Yeah, that's a bit. I really
To
need
be
to play it because
fair, I haven't gone that far in the stock system, right? Like, because I kind of got bored of just playing stock and got addicted to mods
Mm.
way too early. Um,
Oh, me too.
so I even in the stock game I have not. And that's the reason why Juno, everyone's immediately like, you got to play RSS and you got to do this and install this one. I'm like, no, I'm gonna play the stock experience as the devs intended it.
Yeah.
Explore all these worlds they put a bunch of effort into. That's why I've named it Juno Conquest. Because I didn't ever really do that with KSP. I didn't have the attention span I think when I started that I do now, and now I could never go back to stock.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough.
I've never really, done it all just in stock and landed on everything. I think the furthest I went, just in stock, was Duna. I landed on Duna. I think I did a return mission from Duna. I landed on Ike as well. But I've never actually done like an Eve return, like a crude Eve return. I've never done that. I've never landed Kerbals on Moha or anything. Like, I've done it all on the similar planets in like after Kerbin and everything. But yeah, I just got bored of the stock system. So similar boat.
Yeah. I think what I would always do is like start um like career saves with loads of mods, like life support mods. What is it? KSO is the really no MSI.
So modular colonization, so MKS from USI.
MKS. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm mixing,
That's
I'm
what I
mixing them
did
up. It's
with.
been a while since I've looked at them.
Yeah, that's what I did in endurance. That's why I played.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it was that one. I always would make massive mod packs. And I had such a bad computer. Like, it was like, I don't even remember what the CPU and GPU were, but I remember I had 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, if you want an idea.
Oh, I mean,
and
that's how I started playing KSP. I had a little potato laptop with integrated graphics, right? Playing on minimum settings with no aliasing and aliasing. It was something.
Then it was that, and I ran it off a hard disk as well.
Yep.
I
did the same.
But I played KSP and would like heavily mod it until last year. Well, last year is when I upgraded my computer. I don't think by that point I'd moved to uni and couldn't use my computer anymore. But I had that computer, which was really bad up until and like I played KSP on that, and I don't think I've played KSP on my new computer, at least not properly. Because I have a very good. Yeah, no, it's still very good. It's just still last gen stuff. Because that's the thing. I got all of like not quite the top, but like very nearly the top of like previous gen stuff. When I was building my computer, because it was so much cheaper than getting like current gen. But I have a very good computer now, and one that would, I think, run KSP quite well. But I've just not had a chance to really get my teeth stuck into it again. Because I do a fucking STEM degree. And I row as well, which takes about as much time.
Oh, you row? Okay.
Yeah,
I just realized I'm using GNOME engines, and that's why my performance on this is so awful. I'm using the wrong engine. I should be using the upper stage engine I unlocked, which is the Spirit engine. I should be using this. That makes way more sense as why my performance was ass. Okay. Let's give that a go. I think that's gonna have better performance, quite possibly. Yes, it does. It does indeed have better performance. Okay. I should have been doing that earlier.
That's good.
for a bell nozzle. Small throat size. Size 30%. Okay, cool. Then we'll sort the staging out in a second. I think that's probably more what we want. Just checking my landing gear deploy properly. Yeah, they do. Okay, let's have a look at the staging and see what we got in terms of Delta V now. But I think we might be a little overbuilt now. So we want those 3 engines, and that engine. Okay, so stage 1's got 2 kilometers per second. It's got, yeah, okay, so I've actually now overbuilt this. God damn it. So now this can shrink a little bit. Make everything a bit lighter.
Is it just direct ascent then?
Yeah, it's direct ascent just because I haven't unlocked docking ports yet.
Oh, fair enough.
I have done a rendezvous, but not docking, obviously. I don't have the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5. That's more than enough. That's perfect. And then we've got too much Delta V in these ones as well now. You can reduce the amount of mass in the upper stages. Obviously, the gains are massive. I can reduce the mass in my upper stages quite a bit as well. 0.75. Okay, let's have a little bit of margin. Okay, that makes a lot more sense as to why the performance of this was so awful. I was really confused. I was like, why is he taking so much fuel to land here? What's going on? But mystery solved, I guess.
Is Juno, is Drew a similar size to Earth or a similar size to Kerbin?
So it's halfway between. It's
okay.
It's about 1/5 scale. So whereas KSP is 1/10, so it's sort of halfway between the two. I think it's a nice middle ground. Honestly, you get more realistic looking designs, I think.
Yeah,
and the radius of the planet is more of a challenge.
Yeah.
So then you spend longer doing your orbital insertion, but not so much so that it's like a full 15 minutes like it is in Realism Overhaul.
That's something that I found in KSP. Yeah, I was always like, these rockets look. I would always overbuild rockets because I was used to how they look in for Earth. Because, and then I think for a while is it Je ne sais quoi that rescales Kerbin? Or
is that what JNSQ stands for? It is Je ne sais quoi. Yeah, it puts it to the right scale for the performance of its parts. So
yeah, that was it. So
is it half? Is it same scale as Juno? I think
it's not quite. I think it's 2.3 times as big, or thereabouts. If my memory serves me,
so it's
which it
not
might
quite
not because it was a
fifth
while
scale.
ago.
It's more like a quarter scale then.
Yeah, I think thereabouts. I think it's.
But it's balanced because obviously the engines in KSP, the liquid fuel engines, have got terrible performance, and the fuel tanks don't store as much fuel as they should. It's balanced, but it's still too. They're still sort of too good for how tiny the system is. Exactly. JNSQ. I didn't realize it stood for Je ne sais quoi. That makes way more sense. Something just clicked in my brain, but yeah, that rebalances it such that you build a realistic looking rocket with the KSP stock parts, and it goes as far as it should. You build an LEO capable, you build a Saturn V, right, and it can go and land on the moon. Whereas you build something Saturn V scale in stock KSP, and you can go land in the entire solar system, do a grand tour with it.
What was it? I think it was, not to I know touchy subject for your streams. Matt Lown even.
Matt Clown. No, that is his name. Fat Clown. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Prepare yourself for Fat Clown.
Twat Clown. He did was it Saturn V to Tylo, I think. Or Elu maybe. He basically used the Saturn V scale parts to get all the way to outer solar system. It was either one of the dual moons or it was Elu. But yeah, so that was I would always either use JNSQ or I would get what's it called? Expanded? Oh no. Outer Planets mod?
Yeah, Outer Planets.
because I
That
love
has
the.
JNSQ support now, doesn't it?
Oh,
I
does it?
think.
I didn't know it. I don't think it
Maybe.
did at the time that I was
No,
playing it,
no. I
but
think this is recent.
I would get Outer Planets mod and then use rescale, and I think it's about 2.3 times. I
Yeah,
want to say
that sounds
as
about
big.
right. That sounds as what I've heard.
And I think that's roughly about what JNSQ is as well. Um, and I would try and play through that in like a career mode save, but I would only ever get to like visiting the Mun and Minmus, and then maybe
It's the
sending like
moon.
probes.
It's
The
pronounced
moon.
moon.
No, because it only has the umlaut in that one screen from the start up.
It's
It's the Mun.
pronounced moon.
No,
It's
no,
moon.
it only has the umlaut is only ever shown on that
That's
on
enough.
that.
It's moon, just spelt differently. It was clearly what the intention was for it to be moon, because it sounds like moon, you know, like our moon, but it's just spelt different. Mun sounds dumb. It sounds stupid. It's a
Yeah,
loun.
but
It's a lounism, and I won't stand for a lounism.
well, I would only ever go there and to Minmus, and maybe send like probes to Juno and Eve. And especially because with rescale it takes a lot longer as well, and I was playing on like a career mode, so I would have like I would like launch missions to other planets and then also do other stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And also I would even do like what's it where the closest I ever got to like realism was having it you needed to like build rockets, like you had build times.
Oh, Kerbal construction time. Yeah.
There we go, that's it. So I would do that, but like because I had all of these really complicated mods, and that often didn't all work together, I wouldn't get very far into the save, and also because I had such a shitbox of a PC, it would take like a good 30 minutes to load up.
I think I was installing like early days KSP Interstellar because Scott Manley was doing Interstellar Quest back when I had a potato PC, and then I was doing Planet Packs, and the first thing I did was quote KSP Interstellar, where I did, because obviously I was disappointed that Scott Manley's Interstellar series, he went Interstellar at the end but he didn't actually explore anything, so I started a series at that point, and with the premise of Kerbal's dying, we've got to escape, build a colony and do all that, and you can notice sort of the pattern there of then that series is all private now. After that, immediately after came Collaborative Warfare. But that's what built me my 500 subs, and then I went back and basically redid it in career mode as endurance once I realized there was a Planet Pack that was the same sort of theme as that series was. Yeah, that's sort of how I got sucked into modded KSP and then just never went back. It was fun when I did the collaboration station thing, and I was I have not built a launch vehicle in years, because I was doing Fall of Kerbin immediately after as well, and it's like, what? I haven't done this stuff in such a long time. I was like, I build more battleships than spaceships these days. That was a lot of fun. So I sent a Spitfire to it. That was cool. And yeah, and Scott Manny was after me, and he was like, "What idiot put a Spitfire on a space station?" Core memory though. Core memory of Scott Manley being like, "Wow, this guy's an idiot." Like, he noticed me. He knows I exist.
That's great.
Fabuki's in chat saying, "You bring up so many names of things that take me way back." Yeah.
Oh, me too. No, I mean, I was. What if you? I think it was either the start of Endurance. Was the first episode of Endurance like a big video for you? It got a lot of people, or was there one like in the middle of the series that like blew up?
No, the first one did very well.
So it was probably that one that I found your channel through then.
The first Endurance. So like it wasn't until Beyond Kerbal that then anything else blew up more. Like Endurance was a usual sort of series trend where, with the odd exception, where the first episode does really, really well, and then it just gradually tails off. And then that's why I sort of did a little soft reboot with Beyond Kerbal, just to sort of get interest back, because it was a different focus at that point.
Yeah.
And then, so the first episode of Beyond Kerbold now, I think, is almost, if not is, my best performing video, views wise. And only the only one that's in second place is the episode where I actually went interstellar, because it's got the picture of the ship, which I intentionally, because this was very soon after the KSP2 trailer dropped, made look as close as possible to the Daedalus drive powered ship in KSP2, just to get those like that KSP2S attention, and it absolutely worked. Like that video absolutely exploded because people are like, "Whoa, he's already doing KSP2!" What? And like that video, brought in loads and loads of new people, and brought the series to an even wider audience. As I kind of knew it would. Like I made sure I lent into it and tried to make the thumbnail as good as possible and show the ship and everything. So it was very deliberate, because originally I was going to use a warp drive, and then I saw the KSP2 trailer and went, "Let's actually it's more fun if we don't." We don't try, because I used a warp drive in my old Interstellar series. So it's more fun if we don't actually. If we use a fusion drive, it's harder. It's actually more interesting. You build a cooler looking ship, and I can get those KSP2 hype clicks, which definitely worked.
Yeah, wow. I was just looking. Endurance, the first episode, December 2017.
Yeah.
So I was I was 13 then.
Wow.
I was a full-blown child.
Way to make me feel
That's
old.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even in uni yet. I remember going in some of the early episodes and talking about applying to uni. I'm talking about doing my A-levels, talking about getting into uni. Then Beyond Kerbold, I'm talking about early years at uni.
Wow.
Back when I was still sort of excited about it and passionate about it, and life hadn't beaten my enthusiasm out of me.
Oh, don't worry. I've done that as well. I used to love maths. It was the subject I did best in at school. Absolutely loved it.
I was never that much of a nerd. I never enjoyed maths. I was never good at maths either, honestly.
But no, when I did my Nat 5s, which is Scottish GCSEs basically, I got 100% on every maths test I did.
Oh wow. All right.
And then I cried. And then I cried when I got 80% in my higher. Which is the one after...
And you get to uni and anything above 70 is like incredible.
I know. No, actually, an astronomy lab report I did last year, I got an A2, which is like 96%. I was so pleased.
I mean, nicely done.
Yeah, it was about detecting exoplanets.
Oh, nice.
Which is basically what I want to do after uni. So obviously I was going to do well on it, but I wasn't expecting to do that well. I was really pleased. I spent so long on it though. I spent like a good 3 weeks working on it. But hey, it was 10% of the grade for that course, so it was worth it.
Amazing. No, great work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just like building this rocket to look like roughly how I think it should look, and then we'll figure out. We'll figure out if it's right or not dimension, like delta V wise, in a minute.
Fair enough. Is it similar delta V to get off Kerbin?
It's a bit more. So Kerbin's about 3 kilometers a second.
Bigger,
this is about 4 kilometers a second to get into space. So we will have gimbal on this engine. Actually, I think we probably need it on one of the larger stages. Yeah, this is by far going to be the biggest rocket I've built. I don't know if I think the maximum height I think can be is 50 meters. So this might actually be a bit too tall. We'll have to see where we can make some savings in a minute. But I did wonder, like, I was always intending to design the moon rocket today, but I didn't know if I was going to launch it today because I'm not sure we actually have the money and the launch pad we need to do so. I mean, you look at it compared to the previous rocket, right? Like,
yeah, I know.
The flyby rocket, like it's a chonk. it's a heckin' chonk. It's probably easier to go land on. It's called TT. Like, it's a captured asteroid you can go visit.
Oh right, I was wondering if there was another moon, but that's what that is?
Yeah. It's in a retrograde orbit though.
Oh.
Which is a right pain. And so it's harder to get to. So it's easy to land on, but it's a real pain to get to. Yeah, I don't think that would actually be really much easier, unfortunately. So rocket's already too tall, but we'll cut it down once I have a look at the Delta V and see if it's even feasible for us to be doing this.
What's the rest of the system in Juno like?
Well, I'll tell you once I've explored it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've tried to avoid kind of spoilers for it, really.
Oh,
You know, they've got like, you know, they've got their Marsa-like, their Saturn-like, you know, some of sort of stuff, but they've got their own things that make everything keep everything interesting, right? So yeah, they've got their sort of alikes to our solar system, but they've got lots of really interesting twists on things, I believe. Right, let's see what the performance of this is once I actually sort the staging out. So let's move this. Okay, add another stage. No, only 5 stages. Okay, we can make this work with 5 stages, though, I reckon.
Do you have limited stages?
Yeah, you got to unlock more stages through the tech tree, but you can disable staging on stuff and then do it manually. So there's little ways around it, but it's quite nice. It limits your vehicles and things. Like there's more.
Yeah.
There's more of a progression, honestly. The career mode I feel is better paced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, career mode and KSP always felt like more of an afterthought.
Yeah, I like what people have done with it, because I always played community tech tree, which rebalanced it, and then obviously now I play realistic progression 1 RP1, which is really, really well done. As much as I chat shit about the devs, like, no, they did an incredible job. Like, I don't like their attitude to when people don't play it the way that they want you to play it, is all.
That's fair, yeah.
But I kind of get why they're like, oh, you know, they put all this effort into this thing, and then someone comes along and plays it differently, and they want people to experience it the way that sort of they intend people to. Like, on one hand, yeah, I kind of get it, but also maybe chill.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I think it took me a while before I properly figured out community tech tree. I think I was trying to like brute force playing heavily modded with the base game tech tree, which didn't really work. Probably why I never got very far into it as well.
Yeah.
What always bothered me about the base game tech tree is that it would limit, like, it would do it by the size of parts rather than like the technology, or not the technology, the like advancement of them. So you get like really, really efficient engines that were just really small quite early on, but you would have to wait to get big but on like inefficient engines, which always bothered me.
I'm with you on that. I'm gonna have to do some creative stuff to make this work with the limited stages I've got. You're answering in the chat while you're chatting to me. Nice.
Yeah, a little bit.
Being able to multitask. Super.
Someone called me a nerd, so
well,
you're
hands.
You're building a rocket while you're talking to me. I think that's more multitasking.
Touche.
Yeah, I had to defend my honor. Someone called me a nerd.
Yes, like, I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek.
Exactly.
I'm a cool nerd.
I'm not a nerd because I'm actually struggling at uni. Nerds would find this easy.
I don't know about that. I came, I struggled with, like, I had to obviously work really, really damn hard, but then I came first in my year, so it's like, yeah. Yes, I'm a nerd,
like,
but also,
like overall, fully?
Yeah, I had the highest mark out of any Masters of Engineers in the entire cohort. So it wasn't just in spacecraft engineering, it was all of Masters of Engineering. I was the highest grade. Which was pretty cool. I even got I got a big certificate. I got multiple certificates. I got 3 different certificates for it. Well, actually, no. I think in total I got 5, because I got like certificates for like my 3rd year performance and then my 4th year performance, and then because it was the best as well. Like, you kept getting, I got like all the certificates up on the way. So it was like, oh, best in the year, and also you got above 80%, and also you got this, and also that, and then also you were the best out of all of Masters of Engineering. So I ended up like in total. It was wow. No, it was 4 awards for that, and then it was 2 awards for the Venus rover project, which I went into in the video on that.
Wait to
but like I
flex on
worked hard for it. Like I can tell you hands down, I was not the most intelligent person on my degree, hands down. Like people like took to a lot of stuff that I didn't. I've never been naturally gifted at maths. I think, but because of that, like I've always had to work like twice as hard as everyone else to do maths, to keep up and stuff. I think I had the work ethic, like I had to develop the work ethic, and I knew how I revised best. I knew how to work hard, and I feel like people who are just naturally gifted, at some point that can only take you so far.
Yeah,
and at uni that hits people in second year. You can usually coast through first year, but second year is when people started, like really intelligent people started dropping out because they were just partying all the time, not really applying themselves. And if you have to learn how to do it that late, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly like probably more. That's what you're describing is probably more like what I've gone through. Like to be, I had that experience probably more like in my final year of school, a bit because I struggled a lot in my final year of school. But yeah, I've definitely had that. My issue has rarely been with the actual content itself, but it's been with me being able to like stay engaged with it and like keep working on it and everything. Yeah, it like that's been my difficulty. I barely got into third year.
I mean, to be fair, my second year performance wasn't amazing. The thing is, like when I first started struggling was GCSE. My GCSE results were not good. Like genuinely, they weren't great.
Yeah,
and it was that wake up call and the jump to A level. I think is why I had to really learn how to revise and learn how I best learn at that point. So then I worked until my eyes bled at A level because I knew I wanted to do spacecraft engineering, and I had to get A star and 2 A's, and the A star had to be maths and physics, like non-negotiable. You had to get that. So it's like, shit, this is what I want to do. I have no plan B. I definitely want to do this. Like if I don't get this, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life being like, God damn, I really wanted to go into spacecraft engineering. And I think it was honestly playing KSP and stuff that was like, showed me that, no, like, I do have the chops for this. It's just the maths. I just got to work harder at the maths. But, like, the concept-wise, like, no, I am capable of doing this. I just need to work at it. But it's something that is within my grasp, right? So that I don't think I've ever worked as hard. No, maybe 4th year uni, but... yeah, I worked so damn hard at A level, and I got A star, 1 A star, 3 A's. And obviously I went to school with nerds who got 3 A stars and 1 A, and then they were upset because they didn't get 4 A stars, right? Those are the caliber of people I went to school with. But you know, I was absolutely over the moon. Like I could not have done any better. I worked really hard for it. You know, went to uni and just I kept applying the same mentality, and it's like tortoise and hare, right? You know, there are people that just coasted through, you know, didn't turn up to lectures in first and second year, and then it bit them in the ass. Like some of them had to redo years, some of them dropped out, and some of them just didn't do very well at all. That's... You know, whereas I was just quietly working in the background the whole time, and then suddenly nobody was more surprised than me when I got the certificate being like, congrats, your first year. It certainly helped that I had to redo a year because of medical reasons, and it was uncapped, so I sort of had a bit of a bonus to my third year. I got 18 months to work on a 12-month dissertation, you know, but also, you know, I did have to go through having a back injury and everything, so, you know, it wasn't plain sailing, but you know, I think I gave that more credit before I then did my 4th year the same as everyone else and still had the highest mark in 4th year. And it's like, okay, no, actually, I think I might be good at this. You know, I think going to school when I was always in like second to bottom set maths. You know, I was never the best at anything. There's always someone better than you, which is fine. That's just how life goes. But I think, you know, I'd never let myself think that I could actually genuinely just be the best at something, be really, really good at something. It really, like, it wasn't until getting that 3rd year thing, you're the best in the year, and really then until the 4th year one, because the 3rd year one I was like, oh well, I got to do an uncapped repeat, it wasn't fair, maybe yada yada, I got a few extra % here and there, of being like, finally, I think the first time I actually finally actually believed in myself and actually felt I might be intelligent, like I'm not an idiot. Because you compare yourself to your peers, right? Like I might well have been, doing
Oh
really,
yeah,
really well by
totally.
everyone else's standards. And obviously, of course, my family's always been really, really supportive and really happy with me. But it's always been a case of not feeling like I'm that smart because everyone around me was so much smarter. But then, that, as I said,
Yeah,
that only takes you so far.
yeah, totally. I think I think I had a similar experience with like doing like like getting a bit of a shock at well, Nat fives for me, but same lab, same sort of experience as GCSEs.
Mm.
Um, but because for me that was when COVID happened, so I never did my proper Nat five
Right.
exams. All of my grades for Nat fives were like assigned by teachers, basically.
Mm.
And so my prelims, because I did my prelims or mocks, you maybe call them,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them weren't very good. I struggled with a lot of them. Like a lot of them were a lot worse than a lot, yeah, a lot worse than I was expecting to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna need to do a lot better for my actual exams. But then COVID happened and my exams were cancelled. But I was such a fucking teacher's pet at school.
So
Like
was I.
I was a massive teacher's pet, honestly.
Yeah.
I got on with my teachers so much better than I got on with my peers.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
was the
all
same.
of my teachers were like, "Oh no, she's great. Give her like and I just got A's. I got straight A's. And I almost certainly did not deserve it. Which is kind of shitty because I know a lot of people I know that there were a lot of people, especially in Scotland, I think, there was a lot of cases of people being in areas that got like being in schools that like
Yeah.
statistically didn't get very good grades, so they were marked down when they shouldn't have been. So I do.
So that's an interesting one, right? Because, and I fully backed them, backtracking on that decision
Mhm.
because the algorithm they use to calculate that, it's based not only on the school you go to, but also your family background and like your income
Oh,
and a whole bunch of different factors. Which, yes, on a broad scale, might well sort of average out to, yes, statistics wise, you are more likely to
yeah,
not do as well if you're from a lower income background. But it is, that like we always used to
yeah,
have our predicted grades and and there was another grade next to it, which was that calculated grade. And my family's from nothing. Like my mum grew up in the arse crack of Birmingham with, literally nothing. Single mum, three brothers. So my like calculated grade was always one or even two grades lower than what I was
yeah,
actually getting. And it's discriminatory to then be like that's your actual grade. Like I get them
yeah,
being like, hey, look,
totally.
this is like the benchmark. And so we had those on our report cards. We actually had three grades. We had predicted grade from the teacher, we had our actual grade we were retaining, and then we had that calculated grade. And I was getting predicted A stars, A's. I was always consistently calculated B's and C's. Um, and that's the same algorithm they then gave to people. So I got an A
Yeah,
star and three A's. If I'd been at the whim, like at the mercy of that system, I would have maybe got an A and three B's, um, which
yeah.
is
No, it's
astonishing. Like
it's really bad. I was
appalling.
just I was just in a very like lucky position because I went to a very good school. I
Mm.
went to a private school. I got in because I was smart in, I got in a bursary.
You get a scholarship. Yeah,
Um,
nice.
and which was like
I
really
wouldn't say
good.
it's lucky. I mean, like, well done you for getting in, right? Like, well done you
Well, I
for
mean,
managing.
yes, like it was
Great to have the
obviously
opportunity, but like, yeah,
yeah,
it's still
it was the opportunity
still you
definitely
earned
because
it. Yeah.
it wasn't there for everybody. A lot of people
Mm.
weren't able to do it, and it was like it was just like, got lucky with who we knew and everything.
Mm.
So I was able to get like I still would have done well ultimately, but I think I did definitely because for one, my teachers liked me
Mm-hmm.
and were like able and like saw that I was like I had potential or whatever, were
Mm.
able to probably give me better grades than I was likely going to get, at least in some subjects. Like I did some at Nat fives, we still had to do English. English is still mandatory, and then I also did art, and I really was not gonna do well in art. But my
Mm.
teacher just liked me. Um, so I got given an A in that, and so I got straight A's in Nat fives, and I probably wouldn't. I probably would have got like five A's, a B, and a C, which like it's not a huge difference, especially for Nat 5s.
Hmm.
They don't make up a whole lot. And then we did do exams at higher, which is like, for some reason Scotland has one in between. Higher is basically in between GCSE and GCSE and A level, because
Hmm.
our equivalent to A level is advanced higher. Um, so yeah, at my hires, I did exams, but they weren't proper SQA exams. They were the exams just put on by the school to give us predicted grades
Hmm.
because it was still COVID times. So then my first actual exams were advanced hires, which are even a little bit harder than A levels, but
Hmm.
not meaningfully so. But like technically they are.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then I remember I got one B at advanced higher. I got three A's and a B, and sorry, two A's and a B, at advanced higher, and that was the only B I ever got at school, and I was very sad. And now the highest grade I've got at uni is a B1, and I would love to get two A's and a B.
It looks like this rocket's gonna work, by the way.
Oh, great.
I added a whole like 2-stage to orbit, and then it turns out I didn't even need it. We can get to orbit with a single giant stage.
Strap
Just a
some
single
massive engines on the bottom.
Yeah, it's literally just what I did. So we can get to orbit with a single chonker of a stage. I went about 2.5 kilometers a second for this stage. Yeah, that's good. How tall is this? 52.7. So we've got to shave 2.7 meters off this thing. Which maybe we can just do in the interstages, honestly.
Could you make one of your stages a bit fatter and shorter?
Yeah, that's what I've just done with the second stage. I made it a little bit fatter.
Right.
I'll make this first stage a little bit wider. So we go 3.65. Because we're nowhere near the width limit.
Yeah, the width limit was like 9 meters or something.
Yeah, it's pretty wide. I mean, we could always add boosters to this thing, but it seems, yeah, I mean,
I mean, what? That's about as wide as that's as wide as the actual Saturn V.
Yeah. Right, increasing the width is, oh, we're in vacuum right now. This to Drew. Here we go, 3.7. Okay, so let's up that again. I always forget what settings I've got it on, like what planet I've got it set to. Because obviously I played, most of the KSP I've played was before they had those like planning features in KSP.
Mm. Yeah. I think
27 meters. How's that?
would I have played much with that? When did they add that in 112 or like 111 or something?
Yeah, it was around that region.
Oh,
exactly 50 meters. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. Wow.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, well, we have a moon rocket. I just got to paint the thing now. It's the exact height that we can get away with. And to be fair, it's 7 meters wide, so it's pretty chonk.
Yeah, that is very wide.
People have pointed out the starting thrust to weight ratio is low. You are absolutely right. It is indeed very low. We need to make these engines way bigger, or maybe just add 2 more. I might just add 2 more of them. That would be a Saturn 4. Yeah, that's better. So we're gonna need 4 of those, which means we need to make this stage. I think that might be fine still, actually. I think that's okay. Thank you, everyone who pointed that out.
I will be back in a couple of minutes. One second.
Okie dokie. Right, we're going to take the gimbal range off of these. And then there we are. We have our 4 engines. Get them up into there. And bada bing, bada boom. That's a decent thrust to weight ratio. More boosters. We don't need more boosters. I don't like adding. I mean, I know it's the Lowndes School of Aerospace as well, which is another reason why maybe, but I don't like massive booster rockets. I'm not a fan of boosters. I like vertical Saturn V-esque things. And most I like 2 boosters. You know, I think boosters are ugly. 2 or maybe 4 like elegant boosters. I like the Russian approach to boosters. You know, the R7 kind of look. That's cool. But you know, I'd much rather have a more powerful single stage. I think it looks better. Okay, so we got 4 kilometers a second. That's enough to get us into orbit. Stage 2. Need to move this to vacuum. Has got 2.5 kilometers a second, which is this stage up here. That's more than enough. The thruster rate ratio is awful, though. I might make that engine a bit bigger. Crikey, yes. Not a big enough engine. Let's make that like 100%. That's a bit better. Still not great, but we're in orbit at this point, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But we still don't want it to be too awful. Yeah, that's okay. It might increase the height of the rocket a little bit, but we'll sort that out in a second. Yeah, that has increased the height of the rocket a little. 2.2 meters. But we'll figure that out in a minute. We'll need to make this stage a bit wider. Yeah, it'll be fine. That's okay. So 2.5 is enough to get us out to Luna and into low orbit. Stage 3, 2 kilometers a second. That is enough to land on Luna. That's with these 3. And 3.5, that's enough to get us back into orbit around Luna and then all the way back to Drew. We've got the Delta V. Postgrad life better than undergrad life. Way less than the way of double standards.
Hello again.
Hello, people are just talking about postgrad life versus undergrad life. I don't know if they mean postgrad degree or just having graduated. I don't miss being a student. I mean, there are certain parts of it I miss the community. I miss just knowing so many people the same age as me and doing like the clubs and the societies. But the uni itself, and you know, I found clubs and things. It's a bit harder to find them. They're smaller. You got to track them down.
Yeah.
Move to a new town. I've been here a year and I've only just really am I finding and really making friends. It takes a while to find people sort of around your own age, but that's what I miss about it, is just being near all my friends.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
Just the work-life balance, so much better with work. Like I leave work and that's it. I don't have to worry about it. It took me a full year to get out of the student mindset. I'd get home and I would just be like, I'm stressed. Why am I stressed? I feel like I need to be working on something. I feel like I've got coursework, but I don't. Like it took me genuinely a full year just to learn to get home and relax. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to just boot up my PC and play Fallout New Vegas. Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. I had to stop and be like, no, I can do that. I don't have any deadlines. I have nothing stopping me just booting up my PC and just spending a day playing Fallout New Vegas. Like, I can chill. Yeah, honestly, you just can't do that. Your weekends aren't
just
your own.
a whole summer where I can do that, but I'm having to adjust back to uni now, and like I really need to. My issues these past couple of years have been that like I'm too much. Just like my mindset is too much that I only like do work during lectures and do the homeworks. I need to focus on like actually learning stuff outside of contact hours.
Yeah.
Because I would do homeworks, I do coursework and everything, but my issue was that I would never take the time to learn things outside of contact hours.
Reading.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the further. Like I genuinely have not done readings at all at my time at uni. And that is something I need to change this year.
Sounds like it could possibly be an issue, yeah.
But yeah, it's
It would help if they gave you reading weeks in STEM though.
Oh, I know.
That annoys me so much. Like, because you get 1 week behind, you're ill or something, and that's it. You just perpetually you can't catch up. You catch your breath until the holidays, and it's awful.
That's what happened to me or I guess second semester of my second year. So like the first half of this calendar year, I got like horrific, like extremely ill. Like I was bedbound for like a good 2 weeks. About sort of a week or two in. And then I just missed so much, and I wasn't really able to catch up or anything.
Yeah.
And I was just fucked for the whole the whole semester.
I had one module in my entire degree where they gave us a reading week, and that was just of the lecturer's own initiative. Like, you've got a bunch of coursework and stuff around this time. And he took into account when our DIS deadlines were, and he's the only lecturer who ever did that. He's like, you've got other deadlines around this time. You're going to be busy. And it's like, you know what? And you might have got a little behind on the stuff. It's like, I have just structured my lectures so that there's a week of no lectures so you can have a reading week. No other lecturer did it. And my God, I mean, not only was it my favorite module, but my favorite lecturer, because he actually understood we did other things than just his module.
Oh, I know. What was the module?
That was space environment. It was like space debris module. It was by Dr. Hugh Lewis, who is like one of the world's leading experts on space debris. It was so cool. He's such a legend as well. He's such such an interesting topic. I was really looking forward to it, and then he's just an incredible lecturer and just an incredible person as well. Real cool dude.
Yeah,
when I do my inevitable video on space debris, I am just going to name drop him and be like, "This guy's a legend." If you go to this uni, just say thank you for me.
Yeah, my one of the modules I'm doing this year is exploring planetary systems, and it has
that's cool.
The lecturer who's doing the first half of it is one of my favorite lecturers. I had him in first year, but not in second year, and he was great in first year. His course was really well taught, so I'm excited to have him again.
I'm just putting some nose cones on, just to make it look a little less crap. And now I'm gonna paint it. We got any suggestions for a paint scheme? I suppose I'll just pick a theme and then adjust it.
Red with yellow stars.
Maybe no.
Oh, that's China. Oh God, that's China. Oops. Red with a yellow hammer and sickle.
I quite like. You know what? I might just make it green, like the green and red cosmonaut star.
That's cool. Green.
I'll just tweak this color scheme and the textures a bit.
Green and
let's pick a texture.
And red goes well. No, I feel that about reading weeks though. Instead of a break during reading weeks, we get class tests.
Oh, lovely.
At my uni. That's what physics gives us. I believe I am done with now that I'm in third year. It's taught differently now. I fucking hope so, because it's brutal. No, one of my labs last year, I went into the lab, I opened the lab book, the lab script, and started reading through it, and I fully had a mental breakdown because it was the week of a class test and it was a lab on something I really didn't like. I didn't understand it, I really didn't like it, and I just fully had a mental breakdown because it was the week of a class test. But yeah, the lab head that year was actually really nice. He was just like, right, go home. I don't want you to do this. I'll mark it off as an absence. You're fine. So it was pretty good. But yeah, I chose the right lab to have a mental breakdown in because I really did not want to do that lab.
Right, I think this is coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like the vibe. I don't like the way the parachute looks. I'm going to change that.
I quite like the orange.
I don't like the orange. I want it to be dark red, the same as the rest of it.
Fair enough.
I think this is the orange here. Let's customize this. Is this it? No. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, there we go. I just want to change that to be this one. There we go.
I figure out how much of a delay I have on the stream.
I quite like that as a look. I think that's
kind
of fun.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have a payload fairing, but I don't think we can maybe have the mass budget for a payload fairing. I mean, I don't know. It would be a giant egg payload fairing as well.
Yeah. You're the engineer. Would that be a bad idea?
Oh, a big egg fairing.
Would that be worse than just having the 3 boosters there?
The 3 boosters probably won't hurt that much, honestly. I don't imagine. People saying put fuel in the nose cones, but the thing is we've got the... I don't need to put fuel in the nose cones because we've calculated the delta V of everything. Like, I don't want to make the top bit heavier. That would just sort of offset everything. So I'll probably leave the nose cones as they are without fuel in them. So if I increase the weight of those, then it has a knock-on effect to the delta V of the stages below. And no. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's have a little walk through the stages. I can hear you breathing on your mic, like.
Oh, sorry.
Just like.
Oh, my noise suppression is on.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it was just that moment. I hadn't.
Okay, all right. I'm just asthmatic. I breathe very heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asthmatic as well. I got asthma from studying in Southampton. The air quality's that bad. I didn't have asthma before, and now I do.
Oh dear.
So if you want reasons to not study in Southampton, that's one of them.
Oh,
The students' union being awful is another reason.
I study in Glasgow. I'm not sure that air quality is that much better.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Well, hey, we're not a massive shipyard anymore.
2 kilometers a second there. 3.52. Yep. Okay, I think this is possibly ready to go. I mean, it's getting late, so maybe we'll do half of this mission. Yeah, we still got 35 people watching, so you know what? Heck yeah, we'll try and land on the moon. We may not necessarily do the flight back this stream. I think it would be a shame to not. We'll take Yuri along, and you know what? Let's do this thing. What are the issues? Too tall. 50 meters greater than 50 meters. It must be like a decimal point. Oh, it's too wide because of the fins as well. I gotta shrink these fins in. How? Let's get the craft display window in.
Oh, fucking decimals.
Damn. Okay, I could not make these fins as chunky as I might like. Ooh. I'm not sure I'm gonna get much control authority from these.
Can you make them tall?
Okay.
Does that help?
I can't make them any taller. I'm limited because
right.
tech tree is limited to how big you can make things, unfortunately. Okay,
Would...
I love that they updated it so that when you clip things with depth into another part, you still see the depth. You don't show the part clipping through. That was in the most recent update, and I really love it. It shows I can do a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Part clipping. It doesn't affect the look of it. Let's see if that's good enough.
Does it take the volume out of the fuel tank as well?
It doesn't. It's just a look
if
thing.
You clip things.
It's just a depth thing. It applies to the look of it, but no, it doesn't take the volume out of the tank, which is nice. Lewis says, I haven't missed a bank holiday, have I? No. I'm just streaming on a Thursday because I can't stream tomorrow. Okay, there we go. I mean, this is certainly one of the rockets of all time.
That's
I guess we'll see if it flies. Let's launch in the daytime.
Oh, you gotta love time skipping on the launch pad.
Oh, it's classic.
Rite of passage, I reckon.
Yeah. Right, Luna. Get yourself targeted. Okay, here we go. Let's do this thing.
So is that inner one the captured asteroid?
No, the captured asteroid is this outer one called TT.
Oh. Oh, is the inner one another moon?
Yeah, so it's got two like it's the same delta V to land on them, but they are different sizes. They look the same size in the sky, but they're different sizes, but they're different distances. So from here they actually look about the same size, which is interesting. But yeah, one of them actually looks like the moon and one of them looks different. But we're gonna go on the moon. Go for the moon one first. I think that's a good place to start.
Cool.
Okay, let's do this thing. Here we go. That was a lot of smoke.
Oh, it is.
And we have very little control authority over this thing. These fins are tiny.
Do you have gimbal on those engines?
No, I turned it off to reduce the complexity of the launch vehicle. I might need to turn it back on because I can't control this thing.
Would canards help?
Yeah.
Is that what you call fins that are like further up?
I think canards on a rocket is a very bad idea. I mean, it is turning, just not very much. It might be okay. We'll see.
It's going. Mind you, I think I have about a 5 or 10 second
it's starting
delay.
to roll, and I have no way of counteracting the roll. This is turning into like one of the early flights of the N1. I think we're still okay though. Yeah, I'll see if the autopilot can keep control of it and pitch over. Because the higher up we get, the worse it's going to get.
Oh yeah, because your control surfaces is the fin.
Yeah, we need gimbal on these engines. We can't do this without gimbal. But how you steer in space? I've got RCS for space. That's fine. But we need to actually get to space first. Right, here we go. Put the gimbal range on. We'll give them 5-degree gimbal. That obviously increases the price of the engine, like from 7.4 million to 11. So it's a massive price increase, but we can afford it.
Oh wow!
I think we need it, really. And these fins are doing nothing, so I'm just gonna.
For 4.
You know what? They're fine. We'll leave them. They can't do any harm. They don't cost us anything really. There we go. I was gonna delete them, but yeah, you know what? They're harmless.
FNV? Is that Fallout New Vegas?
I think FNV, President, President Kimball. It's the president of the New California Republic. President Gimbal. I like that. That's a bit of fun. That's a bit of fun. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully we don't run out of monopropellant. I just realized that we don't have gimbal in like any of these engines. But it makes them heavier as well. So I think it'll be fine. We need to be sparing with our monopropellant because I reduced our monopropellant budget quite a bit. Yeah, there's still plenty though. I think we'll be alright.
Could you put monoprop in those cones?
I could, but again, it will increase the weight, and like we're cutting it fine with the delta V margins as it is. So
fair enough.
I don't really want to push it. Implement differential throttling using Visi. There's like a built-in programming language in this game, which is amazing. You can program it onto like Kerbal operating system, but built into the game.
Oh.
So they're saying you should do differential throttling.
I tried to learn. I remember trying to learn KOS, but struggling.
Thing is, like, by day, like particularly over the last year or so, I basically am a software engineer, so I could definitely figure it out. And the thing is, I'm currently like with this stream series, Juno Conquest. As I say, I'm just playing the game sort of surface level. Happy to just. Oh, that's much better. We got some gimbal now. Perfect. Happy to just explore. I don't think we need any more advanced tools, but I think once I've explored the whole solar system, and I might not land druids on all of them. I might just send probes to some of them. But as long as I've seen everything that the stock game has to offer, then I'm definitely going to go into real scale. And I know people are working. I know Deep Space Industries is a really good Juno YouTuber. Like he's done a bunch of engine mods and stuff, and you can just literally edit the XML files to change the performance of engines and things. Like it's all fully configurable. You can make a realism overhaul with a bit of elbow grease. And the thing is, I've had to put so much personal effort into making the For All Kerbal Kind mod pack. Making a fun realism overhaul pack for Juno would not be much more effort. It's just that obviously the modding scene is a lot smaller in Juno, but it is there. And a lot of it, really, a lot of the work that needs to be done is just in editing XML files and just making a custom career with all the tools that the game already gives you. Like, there's not really much modding that needs doing. So I don't know if I do like a career mode thing, but I definitely want to do a real scale solar system thing. And I think a constraint I would love to have is if there's no crew on board, it has to be controlled with the inbuilt programming language. I think that would be really cool. Like you have to program it. Like,
yeah,
wouldn't that be sick? That
would be awesome. Yeah,
such a cool thing. I think
that'd be amazing. Is there, so other than like XML modding, is there other? I know that Juno has like a planet builder, right?
Yeah, it's built into the game. You don't even need to edit any files or anything. You can build them in
that's
game.
Awesome.
I think that's how the RSS is made as well. Is the inbuilt planet like solar system creator, which is amazing.
That's awesome. I love to see like modding stuff built into games.
Yeah, I mean their attitude to the entire game is just make everything configurable, everything procedural, which obviously means that the learning curve at the start is a little higher than KSP, but you can just go so much further with it and do so much more with it. Like I exclusively play KSP now with everything fully procedural, you know, with full credible kind, because after a while, like you can't do the things that you want to do with the stock parts. Like you just can't.
That's definitely something that I ran into. I think once I sort of started playing with, is it Blue Dog Design Bureau?
Yeah.
That has a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's like a lot of it's really really cool, but a lot of it is at like different scales to the, or not different scales, but like different sizes to the stock parts.
Yeah.
And I started having to.
It's balanced for Je ne sais quoi, I think. Blue Dog.
Yeah, that makes sense. That yeah, definitely that makes sense. But yeah, I started running into that kind of stuff and having trouble getting it to work with a lot of the stock stuff. And then I think the closest I ever got to like procedural parts is like tweak scale, but that was a bit. I think it's just like, I'm sure in Juno it wouldn't be as much of an issue because the game is built to handle that, but in KSP having to like do procedural stuff and do tweak scale stuff is like so much of a, it feels so like clunky. It was tough for me.
How fast are we burning through this monochrome planet? Oh, we're fine actually. I think we're going to be okay. Means we are having to burn our transfer stage engine to get into orbit, which I wasn't planning on. I thought it was about 4 kilometers a second to get into orbit. I think our gravity term was so crap that they were sort of paying for that now.
Fair enough. No, I've definitely.
Someone just said I do enjoy the higher learning curve in Juno because it kind of gives the feel of the initial learning curve of playing KSP for the first time, and that's why I love it. That's why I'm enjoying it, because it's a fresh challenge. And that's the reason why I love Realism Overhaul when I played that. Again, it's just like, it's like a whole new game, and obviously this is a whole new game, but it's a fresh challenge. It's interesting. There's a fresh take on it. It does things differently. Like, that's why I'm really enjoying it. It's just because it's not that same game I've played for, you know, bordering. It was around 10,000 hours I must have put into KSP at this point. Ooh. Someone made a joke earlier that I had put like this many thousands of hours into this game, and yet I have not landed. I've not even like landed on all of the planets.
Wow, 10,000 hours? That's over a year.
It must be at this point. It genuinely must be.
Wow, fair enough.
I've been playing it since 2011, right? Like, and it's been the game I play the most since 2011.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of time into it, so it must be around that region. Right, the thruster weight ratio on this this engine is not it. I mean, I know I didn't mind so much because we wanted efficiency, but crikey.
Oh wow,
Um,
yeah.
So we got 2 kilometers a second in this. Can we still make it? We can make it to an orbit. As long as we don't drop below 2 kilometers a second, I think we might still be able to land. It's going to be close, though. Real close. Provided we even get into orbit, I think we could probably do a better ascent trajectory. I'm just going to warp and see if this can even get into space.
Fair enough. Getting the gravity turn right was something that I always struggled with. Especially once I kind of got used to it on like normal Kerbin, and then I switched to doing JNSQ or rescale, and then obviously it's different on that. You have to do a lot more a lot more of a gravity turn that way, and it was
I kind of balls this up. And let's see. Okay, yeah, we used way too much of this stage. I think maybe not having a second stage was a mistake. And it's going to make the rocket more expensive. I reckon if we have a better gravity turn, I think we can still do this. I just need to pay closer attention to this launch. But I think we'll see if we can get this to orbit with a full stage, and then that might be where I leave it, because it's getting late now. This actually ended up being a longer stream than I intended it to be. I didn't intend to even launch the moon mission today, but I just got a bit excited because we built it. It's like, well, I feel like you've watched me build it for that long, you kind of want to see me at least try to launch it. But I think it might need big enough tweaks that it needs to head over into the next stream. Which won't be for a few weeks, because next week I'm at Space Creator Day.
That's cool.
It will be the week after, on a Thursday or a Saturday, because I got a concert on the Friday.
Nice. Is that going to be a video, Space Creator Day?
Probably not. Really, because, you know, like I made a video of the esports thing, and you know, I do like doing videos of these things, but a couple of reasons. A, I'm going on my own, so it's just me. Obviously, I'm meeting up with Loun. We're going to like holiday park, theme park. Like, we're gonna spend a couple of days together, go around the museum together and stuff. Like, we'll have a bit of fun, and we're gonna hang out with Shadow Zone, maybe Tim Dodd as well. So I'll be there with people, but I don't have like a dedicated camera person like I did have at the esports event and when I went to the National Space Center with NASA. And really, I just want to enjoy it. I'm going to take my camera and I'll take photos, but I just want to go around the museum and just take my own time with it and just enjoy it and meet people and talk to people. I really don't want to be worried about having to record things and have my audio set up and be recording and capturing everything. Like, I really just want to go and enjoy it. Like, I'm going. I know Matt will probably do videos of stuff because then he can expense like the travel and everything off his taxes. It can be a work expense, but yeah, I'd just rather just go and just have fun, just have a nice time, because everyone's going to see Space Creator Day from people who are much better at doing like real life video stuff than I am, like Shadow Zone and Matt. So, you know, they're not going to watch my point of view to see the stuff going on at Space Creator Day. It would just to see what I'm actually doing, and what I'm going to be doing is just going around the museum and just chatting with people and having a nice time. So I'd rather just focus on that.
Fair enough.
If that makes sense.
No, fair enough. I can't fault you for that.
Oh, my airpups. I went the complete opposite end of the spectrum with my gravity turn. I did it a little bit too aggressive, I reckon.
No, I've had that experience, like relaunching the same mission many times because you do the gravity turn wrong.
I'm taking heat damage. Because I've
had that experience as well.
I scuffed the gravity turn. How much fuel we got left in this? 3%. Okay. This is definitely not a more efficient gravity turn. I've definitely scuffed this. Something broke. Something broke because of heat damage. Oh. Okay.
Oh, was it the decoupler?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Letting
one
it
way of
track
doing it.
prograde actually works well, Corsara says. Tim's already said he can't make it this year. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, no Tim then.
Oh, no.
I thought that maybe he'd be there because I know he was worried he couldn't be there. I think again Starship might be launching, so yeah, fair enough. But there were like contractual obligations. He had to be there for Starship launches because of Dear Moon, but obviously that's all fallen through now.
Right.
But yeah, you know, it was wild at the esports thing, having someone actually walk up and be like, "Hey, this is a bit awkward, but are you the Beardy Penguin?" And I was like, first time I've ever been recognized. And obviously, if someone's going to recognize you, it's going to be a Kerbal Space Program esports event. But
Yeah.
it was wild, man. It was so cool. And so I imagine at least one person will recognize me at Space Creator. I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
You were saying that there were penguinauts at your uni.
There were penguinauts in some of my classes, but the thing is, they didn't know what I looked like. I didn't do like much stream stuff with my face on at the time. So I remember one of the people in my Venus rover team literally said that one of the lectures I wasn't there at, it was a topic of discussion. Like there was a whole group of them like chatting in one of the tutorials. So I always did this because, you know, back injuries and stuff. Like the tutorials I'd always just do at home.
Right.
And I find them, I get more out of them just doing the tutorials on my own and watching the recordings and going through and working through it in my own time. Because I was, you know, very good at managing my own time and everything, so I'd be better just without other people sort of derailing it, and I could pause it at bits that I needed to go back to. And
Jealous.
yada yada. But yeah, apparently there was a whole discussion in one of the tutorials. There was a whole group of them who were fans, and they were like, they noticed in one of my recent videos I'd said that I studied at Southampton, I did the course, and they were like, "Who do you think it is? Like, it could be any one of us." And they were apparently talking about it. They were trying to figure out who I was, and this guy knows that I, you know, had my YouTube channel. Apparently, he was there just trying not to crack up because obviously he's in a diss team with me. He thought it was hilarious.
Oh, great. Had you?
Also, for one person in the jazz band that I was in, he'd watched some of my collaborative warfare stuff back in the day. And he was from Canada, and then he made personalized like mouthpieces for the woodwind people in the jazz band. Like he 3D printed them out of cool materials with like names on them and engravings, which was fun. And
Cool.
I bought one from him. And then he gave me a second one of a different design for free with a different engraving. He's like, "This is a bit awkward, but I didn't know how else to tell you." And he shows it to me, hands it to me, and then it has Penguinaut engraved on the side. And I'm like, "No way!" And he was like, because he went, when I made my KSP2 video, because that video blew up, he got recommended it. And he was like, "Oh, I know that guy from back in, you know, Collaborative Warfare back in the day. Let's see what he's up to." And he's listening to the video, and he's like, "This voice is very familiar. It sounds just like someone in my jazz band. Surely not." And then he goes back and he watches some more, and then he sees me talking about going to Southampton, and he's like, no. And sure enough, like he'd met me at uni, not clocked who I was, obviously, because why would you? Because he just watched this random YouTuber back in Canada like years and years and years previously. And then he figured it out. He's like, "Oh my god, no way!" And so he gave me a little personalized mouthpiece, and it was it was really cute. It was really funny. It was really adorable. But it's, you know, it's kind of a small world with these kind of things. I wouldn't really consider myself a big personality or anything, but you know, particularly when you have a couple of videos that do reasonably well in these circles, and you're in a a course that does that kind of stuff, inevitably people are gonna find out who you are, right?
Yeah, I'm sure for that course. I'm sure there's a good chance.
He was on the same course as me, as well as sharing a jazz band with me, so.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't in the same year though. He was in a lower year, but.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I often get. I mean, Scotland's even smaller than England. A like, but I I often get um I often am surprised. There's been so many times at uni where I'm like, oh, you know someone that I grew up with, or you lived in the town over from me, or whatever. It's really weird, honestly, because it is just a honestly small world.
Yeah. Right, we seem to have aced the ascent without even having to change the rocket, so it was clearly just my awful gravity
Nice.
turn last time. And we've got over 2 kilometers a second. I think this can do it. It just needs to have a not ass gravity turn, and it's fine. So I think this might well still be capable of getting there. The Juno universe has been shaken. Drew's decided to clean their telescopes, and I think they found something crazy. I believe they're hinting at a new planet being worked on for one of the upcoming updates.
Oh.
But there we have it. We are in orbit, and we have 2 kilometers a second of delta V. It might be easier to land on Brigo, the nearer one. It's slightly closer.
You were saying they have about the same delta V cost.
It's slightly less just to get to, it's to land on, but to get to Brigo, because it's a bit closer, it's slightly less. I want to look at which one my inclination is nearest to, which I think, again, it may well just be Brigo. I think, because we'll actually intersect it at its ascending node, or near to its ascending node. Whereas Luna's actually in an inclined orbit, and it's a very different inclination to us. That's the real kicker. I reckon Brigo is actually going to be the easiest one to go for. So we're going to see if we can get into orbit around Brigo. That's the one we're going to target.
Cool. You were saying that Luna's the one that's basically the moon. What's Brigo
it looks like the moon. Brigo looks very different. It looks a lot more interesting. I mean, probably the more interesting one to go and explore, honestly. It looks like a ball of chocolate. It's even got Cocoa Mountains. Mimas Crater. I assume it looks like, Mimas, moon of Saturn's crater. Oh, it's the one that looks like a Death Star, isn't it? This one. It's actually called Mimas. I remember last time when I flew past it, I went, "Oh, it's got the crater like on Mimas," and then it's actually called Mimas Crater. So you can, okay, wearing their inspirations on their sleeve. Fair enough. Yeah. I think we're going to go to Brigo instead. I think it's going to be easier. I'm going to quick save, and we're going to head on that away. Let's change our view to orbit. What's the timeline for a Kerbal Kind, and what can we expect in the next episode? For the millionth time, there is no timeline. But N9's saying that he should be able to get his episode out this month. He's had a lot of life stuff going on. He's been making an album. He's been playing games and stuff, and dealing with a lot of personal stuff as well. It's just, life has happened over the last couple months. That's all. But I've been using the downtime to work on the mod pack. So we've got a whole bunch of really cool new stuff in the mod pack, and we've got deferred rendering. It looks prettier than ever, which is part of the reason why I'm building a new computer. But yeah, in the next episode, you can expect more moon landings. I wouldn't expect the UR700 to show up in the next step. Yeah, that won't be happening, but and neither with Spiral either really. What is happening in the next episode? Oh, Krasny 3 is arriving at Mars in the next episode. So you got that whole mission with the Deimos Phobos sample return to look forward to. So that's probably going to be the highlight of the next episode, honestly. But it probably won't be a massive episode. It'll probably just be focused on that and one moon landing, like one crewed landing with the new system, and and that'll be that. Because as I said, most of the effort has been going into the new mod pack, and I've been applying everything I've been learning at work. We actually got a GitHub and everything now. It's all got proper version control, which was long overdue. I just never bothered.
That's cool.
But at this point, because I've realized how much development I need to do on the mod pack to optimize it, and how many people are playing it as well, I realize I need to start keeping track of the versioning and everything. So so there you go. Next person to ask about it gets a timeout. It's all right, Kosara. I mean, obviously people want to know. As long as people are respectable about it, I don't mind people asking on updates and like what they can expect, what's coming up. That's okay. It's just when people like, particularly if they ping me on the Discord and go, when is it? When's the exact date? And it's annoying when I get comments like, when's it coming out? And I'm like, when it's finished, you know, in the realm of like maybe another month or so. And they're like, yeah, but what exact date? Like, people demand exact dates, and so you find it like sometimes I do cave. I'm like, okay, it'll be this day, and then you don't make that day inevitably because things change, things go wrong, and you know the game crashes or whatever. And then it's like, oh, I can't believe you would set false expectations like this. Well, yeah, why can't you stick to your upload schedules? It's like you're the ones that are demanding a schedule in the first place. Like inevitably, like I do this for free, right? Like. Yeah, you gotta keep that in mind. Like I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Like so, if I'm not feeling it or I'm busy or something, I'm not gonna sacrifice my life to make free content. Like you know, I try and get things out as fast as I can. Like we only ever commit to schedules when we think we can make them. Like when we don't make them, it is as frustrating for us as I'm sure it is for you. But that's just how it do be like sometimes, you know. Life happens, particularly when you're coordinating 3 people. That's another aspect that people seem to forget about. Like you got to coordinate 3 different busy people and their schedules, and we're all working full time. It's not like this pays. Obviously, your Patreon contributions are very, very dearly appreciated, likes. But it's not like I can live on it. Garnasa tried to make a living on YouTube for all about a month when he ended up losing his previous job, and very quickly it was like, yeah, nope, that ain't happening.
Everyone asks when is for all Corporal Kind, no one asks how is for all Corporal Kind.
Oh, this is inclination wise, this is not it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we have the Delta V to correct that.
Oh, it's not even got an encounter.
We had a brief one for a second.
Oh right.
To be fair, once we get out to like here, we could probably do it. Oh no, because the inclination change has got to happen near the planet because of the particular angle it burned at. I think that's a load quick save one really, because we've got 700 meters per second of Delta V. That's not enough to get into a low orbit. I think that's a load.
Is that whole thing just the transfer stage?
Yeah, it's just to get us into orbit, and then it's a lander stage from there, and it's close on the Delta V margins for the lander. We've got maybe 200 meters per second of leeway, right. So yeah, we can't afford an inclination change like that. So you know what? We'll finish this mission in the next stream, I reckon, because it's getting a little late. We've got it into orbit, so we'll plan. I say plan as much as you can plan. We haven't unlocked maneuver nodes in the tech tree yet, but we'll try and plan that in the next stream. So thank you for watching, everyone, and thank you, Lags, for joining me on stream. I hope you've enjoyed the chat.
It's been great. It's been nice. It's been so long since I've had a proper chat with you.
Yeah, yeah, it's been too long. Obviously, you know, my final year of uni and first year of work, I kind of got out of streaming, but I'm back into regular streaming now. So
nice.
I say back into as if I was ever regularly streaming. I am into regular streaming now with Juno Conquest. So
right, yeah.
So yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thank you to everyone that donated. Obviously, you donated, likes, so cheers for that. Also, N9 popped in. I think it was N9 that did the Newt as well, because it has N9 Gaming as 7, which is the accumulation of his £2 tip saying he was spying. If he popped up in the chat, I would have invited him to come chat with us, but I don't know if he was just popping in to say hi. And Paul Sidio, of course, as always, long-time supporter of the channel, long-time donator. People testing the new donation widgets. There's a few that people haven't actually seen, so I'm just gonna bring up Streamlabs. I'm just gonna run the test because I want to show people them because I was really proud of them. I worked really hard on them. I'll bring up Streamlabs and just launch a test donation, just so people can.
Do you need me to donate for a test donation?
No, that's okay. I can just send one. You send me more than enough money already, Lex. It's okay. Widgets. Here we go. And test a. Or is it in tips? It's in tips, isn't it? Aha! Yeah. How do I test this? Where's the test? There's the test button. There it is. He's riding a rocket. Look at him go. And he flies in and he flies off again.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really happy with that one. And then obviously we've got the champagne one, which we did see today. He swings it and it doesn't smash, but he's happy anyway. He's got his little party thing. And then we got another one. How do I test this one? Test. There we go. And you just got your happy little penguin knot. Little baby penguin. There's a little spacesuit on. He's a happy little guy. He's rocking back and forth. Anyway, I spent a little while on those. I was quite happy with those. Because I didn't have like personalized ones really, like nice ones. Like
cool.
Obviously, like I had like pop-ups. I had like Matt Lown putting goggles on and a few little funny things, but they didn't look like professional. I thought if I'm going to start doing streaming regularly, I want to get stream overlay. So I made the whole overlay and all the little widgets and the scrolling names of people that donated and the view count and and I stream in 1440p now, and the video is in 1080, so I can crop down to the video, still have high definition video if I want to make videos out of streams. And I do want to start making summary videos of these streams. I've got a few ideas for that, which I think could be fun. I want to make some videos about Juno because I haven't really made any dedicated videos about it, just streams really. Kind of like N9 does with his N9SA, where he makes little summary videos of the stuff that he's been doing in his streams. But I can cut down to the video when I need to, and I can cut back out to the whole stream overlay when I need to as well, and it still stays high definition. So that's the intention behind all the stream assets and everything.
You had claymation stuff, but like not proper. It was like Pingu, but not actually Pingu claymation.
That was Thingu.
Thingu.
It was the Pingu parody of John Carpenter's Thing. I didn't make that. That's the thing. Like, I didn't make any of the little clips that I was using. Yeah. Like, they were just little funny things. They were fun, but I thought, no, I need to. If I'm gonna start doing this more regularly, putting the stream highlights in videos, I want it to be a professional looking overlay with my own custom assets and things. So
fair enough.
So yeah, I think that's the stream. So thank you for joining me, Lex.
Cool.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, and I'll see you not next week because I'm at Space Creator Day in Germany, but the week after. I might post some stuff on the community tab at Space Creator Day, but I won't be making a video on it because, as I said, I just want to go and just want to have some fun. Just want to enjoy it. If you want to get some coverage, watch Matt Lown or Shadow Zone. It's the one and only time I'll ever recommend Matt Lown. I'm kidding. He's a good YouTuber. Right. See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.